The Marcia Week Show. It's the Marcia Week Show. From Barbados to Africa, voices unite. Educate minds, elevate sight. It's the Marcia Week Show. It's the Marcia Week Show. From Barbados to Africa, voices unite. Educate minds, elevate sight. It's the Marcia Week Show. Talk truth, build roots, stories unfold. Motivate change, mobilizes the mode. That's the MR code. Hey! We growing, we know it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, boys and girls, and welcome to the Marcia Week Show. We're coming to you live from Barbados. This is the national flag of Barbados that's here flying in the wind. Yes. And you just heard the national anthem of Barbados. How are you doing this evening? I am trusting you are having a great evening, great Monday evening, Monday, June the 8th. And today we're talking about oil. Yes, oil. A little more oil in my lamp. Little more oil. Anybody remember that? Keep it burning. A little more oil in my lamp, I pray. A little more oil in my lamp. Keep it burning. Keep it burning till the break of day. And somebody, I think there's somebody else that's singing all the way to the bank. So we're going to talk about that. Dave, if you can put up that picture that I just sent you there at 7:02, just put that up as I go through and welcome everybody. So tonight we're doing Oil, Africa, and accountability. Hard questions, honest conversation. As you know, some people, honesty, it's not in their vocabulary. So we're going to continue to talk about this climate change funds heist that they've had, that we've seen, the biggest in the entire world, as we built a greener future. To drill, baby, drill. I tell you, listen, man. Nothing like a woman outsmarting all these men. I love this picture. Net zero by 2050. Mm? And you see how big these climate change funds bags are? Big, 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 big. So tonight we're gonna look at the history of oil in Barbados. So this is where we're talking about, some of the contradictions of this prime minister. But we are seriously going to look at the history of oil in Barbados, and I want us to take it seriously, though we're having a little fun here. All right, so we're going to do that tonight, and we also have coming up there. We're supposed to have a segment, and I'm hoping his technicals work out, with Mr. Maurice Gaskin, and he is going to be talking to us about how to make sure that your home is rodent proof. Okay, and so that's in our health corner. We normally would have Dr. Hines coming on, but he has sent somebody to talk about how do we make our home rodent free. And so I'm hoping that Maurice Gaskin is able to come on. I know he was having some challenges with his camera, so I'm not sure how that is going to go. And then we also have the attorney Corey Beckles, and he's going to talk about the rights of beneficiaries, estate without a will. Rights of beneficiaries. We're going to continue in our legal corner, and we're gonna answer some of your questions. And we're really hoping that Dr. Alleyne makes it on. You remember, he's traveling, and he did send me what he was going to speak about tonight. So we are hoping that, really hoping that he will be able to make it on tonight. Let me just go ahead and just welcome everybody. While Dave, can that picture be put up? I'm not sure. Can we just keep the picture there until I'm finished greeting everybody? Thank you so much. Hi, Judy. Good night, Judy. Hi, Monica. Hi, Jefferson Sobers. How are you doing? Hey, Carol. Carol, you're witnessing the greatest climate change fund heist in the history of the world. This is big. Listen, big things come through these people. Big things that don't just happen in Barbados, they happen in the world. The biggest climate change fund heist happened right here, originated right here, Barbados. Oh my goodness. Hi, Mavis, Bajan boy, Teroni, Teroni Macaroni, Ronald, hey, Sherry Johnson, Charmaine Taylor, Jacqueline, how are you? Marcia Miller, hey, Sharon, Lori Bob, you're watching this climate change funds heist that's happening, or that has happened. Celia Miller, Calendar, Mildred, Queen D246. Hey, Pauline Maynard, how are you? I'm a big girl. Yes. Dinah Husbands, how are you? Hey, Cami, good evening. Beverly Perscott. Listen, they said that they were going to put Barbados on the map. I tell you, this is going to be a big PR issue for them, because already you see everybody have something to say, because you see they said the higher monkey climb, the more they show the tail, right? Yes, well, the tail showing. I'm a big girl. You had a great day. Hey, Emma Hoyt, how you doing? Thanks for the prayers. Continue to pray, please. Kim Tay, you love the picture. Why you love that picture so much, Kim Tay? Hey, Calerts, Machio, Barbara Hunt. What's I'm a big girl. Said one smart can live at too smart door for too long. Yes, 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 yes. Oh my goodness, this is funny. Well, as I said, we are going to segue into something a little more serious about the history of oil. And I really hope that you stay with us, all right? Because it's important. Yes, we're having fun with this, but I think there's a serious, not a serious issue at hand, because if Barbados really has oil and we can use it for commercial use, that is amazing. That is something for us to really celebrate. But we also, it's very important that we also look at whether or not we are in a position, whether it's going to be ecologically safe for us. So while we're having fun and laughing at the contradictions here, the contradiction here, it is important. This is a very serious moment for Barbados. And it's something that we need to look at in a very serious way. But we got to have fun with them, because they made a big thing about this. So this we have to laugh. We gotta laugh. So these memes are gonna keep coming, because we just gotta laugh. All right, on a serious note, we have some announcements, and one of them is our elevation. Elevation has started, and this is our literacy program. Our literacy program, where we are asking for volunteers, and this is happening through right here through the Marcia Week Show. We're asking for volunteers, of those of you who you said, Marcy, I have some time and I want to volunteer to help children to read. Have you seen the statistics? Do you realize that the children in this country taking the common entrance and they have to be assigned a reader? This is in Barbados, and it's supposed to be 90 something percent literacy rate. And I believe that if we all work together, we can help to stamp out illiteracy. And we don't need to blame, we don't need to wait on the government. Yes, there are some things the government needs to do. But I tell you, Barbados, if you sit and wait, especially on this government, you will not recognize your country when they are through with it. And I know people say, oh, but we're paying taxes, we shouldn't have to be doing all these things. Well, do you love your country? Do you love your country? So you can't sit down and wait on this motley government. You've got to get up and you've got to do things. And any government at all, any government, get up and do something. And so on Thursday evening at 4:30, we're looking for volunteers. All right. So we're looking for volunteers. Those of you who have a little time to spare, please message me now and let me know. We do have some adults in St. Philip who want to learn computers. Okay, they want basic of computers. And I tell you, it's so interesting how everything is, they want to go digital with everything. All right, they want to go digital, and they're leaving behind a lot of the elderly. And so this is a time where we can come together and we can share our skills. Okay, those of you, some of you can help the children, and then, the young people can turn around, or some of you who are young or not so young can join and say, listen, a volunteer, and say, Marcia, I want to help an elderly person to understand how to read their email, how to use a computer, just the basic things so they can communicate. How some of them, they're telling me they want to be able to share something from their WhatsApp to their email, things like that we take for granted. We know to do it. If you know how to do that and you want to help an elderly person be able to do that, please call me as well. You want to help a child to read basic reading, primary school level. Most of us can do that. We have the books. Okay, I showed you the books that Sunny has donated. Some of this is math. There are times tables. One, And then you have telling the time. Oops, my camera, telling the time. And you have quite a few things, mental maths, vocabulary. So we phonics, very important. Phonics. And in the phonics book, I mean, it's basic things in the phonics book. Basic. Let me see if I can make myself a little bigger so you can see in the phonics book. Real simple words, it's not that difficult. And this is from ages 5 to 7. All right. So, and we have all the stickers there to give them the stickers and so on, and they can sound out the letters. Okay. So we of course we're gonna need more of these books. Some of you might be able to say, Marcia, I can send your overseas and you can send some books, some phonics books for us. We would really appreciate that. Laptops, computers, anything like that. We would be very, very happy for it so that we can get these centers, elevation all over the country. These can be in churches. Churches can host them all over the country. I believe we've got to take this into hand and stop, waiting and blaming the government. Really, this is something that it's easy. We can do this easy, 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 easy. This is an easy one. Yeah. And so I hope I only had one volunteer from the show, to be honest. No, that's not true. There are three volunteers from the show, 3 volunteers. And right now we have over 347 of you watching. What is that telling us? Come on, guys. That's Jacqueline. Alleyne there. Jacqueline comes on and thank you to Michelle. Michelle, you're a real inspiration and you keep this thing going. Thank you so much. We want Nigel Newton has said, Marcia, I am going to help with, once we've established teaching the children like civics and ethics and those kinds of things. And I think that is good. Leapfrog phonics. Can we get anybody donate some of those? The Leapfrog phonics. Is there anybody who can go on Amazon, buy the books and send them down? The Leapfrog phonics. We're going to need as many as possible because once we get them open up in different places, the children are going to need the books. We're just moving as we go, and it's going to be fine. You send them and we're going to use them. All right. There's somebody I'm trying. If you're listening, somebody said they had a Montessori package books. If that's you and you're listening, please message me again. I get a lot of messages and I obviously have lost your message. Please, the person with the Montessori books, please message again so I can pass it on to the people, to those in Bel Air and those who are operating the Elevate in Collimer, St. Michael. And the video you're seeing on the screen right now is from Bel Air, St. Philip. Okay. And so those 2 ladies are speaking to that wonderful little 8-year-old girl there. So come on, each one teach one. Yeah. And we can take care of this thing. We can take care of this thing. 3 out of 10 persons in jail, they can't read. The literacy rate is illiterate. The illiteracy rate is pretty high. And so we've got to do something about it. Okay. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is Elevate as well. But this time it's about a youth segment that happens on Wednesday night. So tomorrow we have a special youth segment night, and it's going to be on gardening. And yours truly, I'm out there in my boots and everything, trying to teach what little I know of gardening. So please don't come at me. I know some of you are going to tell me, but Marcia, you're not supposed to do it that way. You probably are right. But I am just sharing what I know, right? I tried to get a big gardener who is on here. She's a real great gardener to come to help me but she didn't want to come. So I shared with them what I know. So that's going to be on the show on Wednesday night. Elevate the seed. And we in this episodes, we prepare, we plant, we water, we grow, and we look for the lessons for life for the girls, right? We look for lessons for life for them in what we do. And so that is going to be on tomorrow. I mean, not tomorrow, Wednesday. Wednesday, elevate the seed. Small choices, big harvest. What you plant today shapes tomorrow. If you have young people at home, let them tune in. It's going to be very early in the show, okay? Very early in the show. And then the last thing that I want to talk to you about tonight before we go into our regular programming, it's our dads, okay? It's our dad. So if you are what we're trying to do here on the Marcia Week Show, we talk a lot about crime, and we talk about a lot about violence and what is happening. Even tonight, somebody sent me something where some news, but I don't know if it's confirmed. And I normally, there's a particular person that normally sends it to me, but it appears, let me just say that someone was stabbed this evening. I don't know if it's fatal. And I tell you this, a 9.5 out of 10 is going to be a man, a male, a young, probably young man. And so what we're doing here on the Marcia Week Show, we're not just talking about the problem, Peter Hill and Joy and Roberts, but we are making a difference. And so we are going to be reaching out to fathers who are under 40 years old. Under 40 years old. And we're inviting them to a Father's Day dinner on Saturday, the day before Father's Day. So we leave Father's Day for people to enjoy that with their families, okay? But if you're under 40 years old, that we are going to cater to you. And we have limited space, very limited, you would imagine. All right. If in your church you have a young man who's really trying, he's under 40, he's a parent, he has a child or children, message us. You want to recommend that person, you can call us. And what we're looking for is anybody who can give us some kind to help us. There are things that we are looking for. And let me just, thank you, Dave, for making that a little bigger for me. And if we go up to the top, take it up. Yes, thank you. Bottom. You were going right. I was going wrong. I want to read the support and in-kind that is at the bottom. Thank you. We are asking, are you a caterer? And you say, Marcia, I will do a meat for you. I will do some meat. I will do some pie. I will do some starch. I will do some vegetables. I want to donate some funds so we want to give the men a little, a certificate and possibly a small gift, because I think it's so important to celebrate our young men, celebrate them. And if you believe that this is a good idea, if you believe that it's a good idea, I say, give whatever donation you can. We appreciate it. If you want to come and help me to decorate, what about if you want to come to help us to decorate the place? You're a man and you're older than 40, and you say, Marcia, this is a great idea. I want to volunteer to help to serve the guys when they come. Come, message me any kind of volunteer work that you want to do with this. I think this is a great initiative, and it is us being an answer to what we're seeing in society. We can't just complain, and we can't just blame the government all the time. The government will take the blame that they're supposed to take, but then there is a time that we have to get up and do the action. And that's what this first part of the show is about, the action part, the Bajan spirit, which is one of action. All right. And that is why all these initiatives, and notice it's about young people, it's about our men, it's about those problem areas in society, All right. So again, if you're interested, I'm reading the chat. I'm not hearing anybody. I'm not seeing any messages coming in my phone. Yeah, I'm not seeing anybody. Okay. I think you're sitting with it and you're thinking about it. So I just heard from Derek Alleyne. He's trying, he says he's in he's overseas. I don't want to say where he is, and he's on the road right now, and he's trying to see if he can make it around 8:30. So we will see. If not, I'll let him know 9 p.m. is okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Okay. All righty. Well, folks, we are so that's the action part of the show. So the show actually started, and we are people of action. How many of you are happy with that we're people of action? Give me a thumbs up. If you are you're a Bajan, you got a Bajan spirit, right? That you're a person of action. Let me see a thumbs up. Come on, give me a thumbs up. Give me some thumbs up before we go into our first segment. Oh boy, you're all sleeping on me when they come on to work. I tell you, my Bajan people, what happened to you? Thank you, the same people. Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you, Judy. Thank you. That's the Bajan spirit. And I'm for a while, I'm gonna start the shows like this, the Bajan spirit. Yes, come on. Come on. We can't just complain, y'all. We've got to do some things, okay? All right. Well, tonight we have an amazing segment. Woo! We're talking about rodents. How to make your home rodent proof. And as we're getting ready, we have 2 minutes. Can I just tell you a little story about me and some chickens? And they're not rodents, but they're just give so much trouble. They're in my garden and give me so much trouble. There's this rooster. I tell you, I just cannot stand that rooster. I cannot. That rooster is so annoying, you know. And they came and dug up my squash. I'm trying my best, and I was so upset. I said, you know what? I'm gonna set something for these chickens, and they're gonna die. That's what I told myself. And then I heard a little thought in my came to me and said, Marcia, why are you going to kill the chickens? Take care of the chickens. Don't kill the chickens. Take care of them. So here we go. We create a little place so that we're now trying to trap the chickens. So if you can tell me how to trap them, they go in and I'm going to feed them and I'm going to take care of them. But that's not what you do with rodents. Rodents, you get rid of rodents. And we have with us Maurice Gaskin, and he's highly recommended by Dr. Roderick Hines. And he is going to talk to us about how to make your home rodent proof, because that has a lot to do with our health as well. Okay, it's not just what we put in our mouth, it's what is around us and how clean our place is. Okay, so here is Mr. Maurice Gaskin. He's a retired and a principal, I might add, environmental health officer. Good night, sir. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show. You have to unmute your mic. No, you're muted again. Unmute it. Unmute it.
Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night.
Okay, so what is happening? You have to come out of the other one.
Okay.
Okay, I took you out.
All right.
I took you out, so that works fine. I took you out. All right, let you settle.
Hi.
All right.
Hi.
Good night.
Right. Good evening to everyone that's listening and watching.
Good evening, sir.
Right. Before we get to the part about rodent-proofing, we need to understand something about rodents. And we have three types of rodents in Barbados. We have the mouse, which is called the musculus, that is the scientific name. And we call that the house mouse or the field mouse. And that tends to live mostly in your house, especially if you are storing boxes, newspapers, clothes, and so on. It like to nest in what we call stored materials. Stored materials meaning these are things in your home that you're not moving every day. So as long as you have these things about 2 to 3 weeks there, then the mouse will look to breed. And it tends to venture no more than 10 to 20 feet away from where it is living. The droppings are rod-shaped, shaped like a pencil. And the droppings are between 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch. And it like to feed on like fruits, vegetables, and the tail is longer than head and body because it like to climb. So that is. Then we have two types of rats, and I want everyone to listen to me very carefully. There's a rat that lives up in the tree called the rattus rat, Rawtus. It's also called the ship rat, SHIP, the roof rat, and the tree rat. That is the rat that go up in the coconut trees, bite the coconuts, and that's why I said you have to listen to me carefully because I love coconut water. I guess everybody listening loves coconut water, very nutritious and so on, very healthy. But you have to be careful when you purchase the coconut water from the vendor, not to allow the vendor to cut the shell and give you the jelly to eat. Because the vendors will tell you when they're going up in the tree to pick the coconuts, many times they encounter rats up in the tree. And the rats are very smart. They go up in the tree and they bite the coconut and then they don't want to climb back down. So they bite the stem, they cling on to the coconut to get back down to the tree. And when the coconut gets about 4 feet from the ground, they jump off. The droppings are what we call spindle shaped like a banana, where the middle is fat and the two ends are thin. So that is, and when they get, when the mouse get young ones, they usually get 6 to 8 babies in what we call a litter. And they breed about 6 times per year. The Rawtus rat usually get 8 to 10 babies in a litter. While the rat that lives on the ground is called the Rattus norvegus. And the common names will be the brown rat, while the other two are blackish gray. This particular rat, the Rattus norvegus, which we are seeing here on the screen, the brown rat, is called the brown rat, the ground rat, the tongue rat, the wharf rat, and the common rat, because you see that rat more often. And that rat, the tail of the other two, the rattus and the mouse, the tail is longer than head and body. This particular rat, the tail is shorter than head and body because this rat is pretty fat and it would not want to climb. So it tends to burrow. And that is why when the environmental health officers come around and inspect your premises and we ask you to keep the bush around your home no more than 4 inches. When you allow it to grow taller than 4 inches, this rat knows it can hide in the bush and it burrows. So when I talk about burrowing, it dig holes in the ground and it know that if you run it It goes through one hole, and then it excavates under the ground, and it will meet out probably another 20 or 30 feet away from where you run it into another area. The home range for the two rats are about 50 to 100 feet. And last year we were doing some training with some janitors, the Ministry of Education, janitors and general workers. And I spoke a lot on hantavirus. And lo and behold, only about 3 weeks ago, you heard about hantavirus outbreak on the ship.
Yes.
I want to jump in here earlier o'clock and speak about hantavirus. Hantavirus is when the saliva, the urine, the feces go into the soil from the rats and the mouse. And it remains there for a long time. And when you disturb it, it is the inhalation of that rat urine, feces, and saliva that you inhale that cause hantavirus. So, say someone going out in the backyard, they're collecting bottles for sale, and they're storing the bottles out in the yard. Rodents are what we call nocturnal, so they come out at night. They see better at night. The sunlight tends to interfere with the eyesight. So anytime you're seeing rodents during the day, there's a likelihood that there's a high infestation of rodents because the sunlight interferes with the eyes, so you normally would not see them. But just like how you have a bad boy on the block where people lime and you have this leader of the gang, there's also a leader of the rodents. And once you're seeing it during the day, it means that they're fighting for territory, and the bully rat is driving out the less vulnerable rats. So you normally should not be seeing them. So at night when they come out, as I said, they come out at night, they run around, they look for food, and they urinate and so on. So my advice to someone who is seeing rodents on the premises and so on, and they're storing bottles, storing other objects and so on, it's best to get a container with at least a half gallon of water, put about 3 to 4 caps of bleach in that water, sprinkle the area, and leave it for at least 20 minutes. And then they could take up the bottles using gloves and also using a mask. And that will protect you from hantavirus. Rodents also transmit leptospirosis. We get about probably 2 to 3 deaths sometime each year, mostly in the country, St. John, St. Joseph. Just before I leave the ministry, we had a few cases in St. John because those country districts, people do a lot of farming. You should never go outside bare feet. You should have on mostly enclosing shoes and preferably rubber boots. You should have on gloves, you should have on a mask, and you should wear a long sleeve shirt. Because if you come in contact with the urine, you could pick up leptospirosis. Another disease transmitted by rodents is rat bite fever, and the rat if persons tend to sometimes. I had a case years ago when I was a young junior inspector. I had a case somewhere where a lady was in a wheelchair, and she's a double amputee, and the house was in a very dilapidated condition, and the family would go and purchase chicken and chips and spare ribs and give her, and which is good, but what they would not do is bring a pan and wash her hands and mouth. So the rodents will come through the siding and the flooring and bite her. and she ended up in the hospital twice with rat bite fever because she would not feel the rodents biting her because she was diabetic.
Oh,
So
my.
yes, so these are things you need to be careful of. And then we speak about hantavirus, but there's also a disease called bubonic plague, where the flea, and that was a big disease in London. They had to burn down near the whole town of London years ago, where the flea, just if you have a dog flea, the flea go on rodents and bite, take the blood of rodents and come and bite you and give you a disease called bubonic plague, which is a very, very, very fatal disease. For those persons who are listening that have dogs, my advice to them, because we are actually talking about rodent proofing and things, so this also extends to the backyard. Persons with dogs, they're when they see around, well, this is the summertime, so it's getting dark now around 6:15. So around 6:15, around this time, and around Christmas time when it gets dark pretty early, around 5 o'clock, around November, December, they need to remove all dog food around 5, 6 o'clock and take it up from by the dog, put it in a plastic bag, and put it in the garbage can in the house. Because in 2012, I was quoted on CBC TV. We did some tests with dogs. We test, I think, 120 dogs in 2012, and 81 dogs tested positive for leptospirosis out of the 120 dogs. And that is very high statistics, because what happened is, as I said, the rats are nocturnal. So when nighttime, the rodents ease up to the dog food, and the dog then run at if it's tight, the dog is tight, it run at the rat run away, the rat come back and tease it about 6 times till it gets fed up and remove. And while the rats are eating the dog food, they're nervous because they believe the dog will bite them. So while they're eating, they're nervous and they tend to urinate at the same time. And when the dog turn around, then they eat this dog food, then they themselves come down with leptospirosis. I forgot to mention that the droppings of the Rattus norvegus is capsule shaped. So the droppings of the mouse is rod shaped like a pencil. The droppings of the Rattus is spindle shaped like a banana, and the droppings of the Rattus norvegus is capsule shaped. Persons, the government. I remember when I was at the vector control unit. I spent 6 years at the vector control unit in Bridgetown, and I used to purchase rodent bait. Probably 180,000 Barbados dollars I used to spend in a budget purchasing rodent bait each year. 180,000 Barbados dollars. We used to receive 60,000 packs of bait every 4 months. So what I'm saying is that rodent bait, the brigand bait, is available. We have 9 polyclinics, but 7 polyclinics with environmental health officers. So a Yale Cochrane polyclinic would not carry inspectors, nor the Glebe polyclinic. So Vincent Scott will be responsible for a Yale Cochrane, and the David Thompson and St. Philip polyclinic will be responsible for the Glebe polyclinic. But all other seven polyclinics, rodent bait is available Monday to Friday between 8:30 and 4:30, and you're allowed to.
You can get it free,
and you get this bait free. Once you're 18 years and over, you get the bait free.
And where are you to go? Where do you go? There's a wind coming in your mic. Where do you go?
You go to Bramford Polyclinic in Black Rock if you're in that area or attending the clinic there, Bramford Polyclinic. And that polyclinic services from Swan Street to Whole Town. Yes, taking in all of the farm, Deacons Road, Bank Hall, Ferniehurst, Black Rock, right down to Whole Town. And then from Whole Town down to St. Lucie and St. Andrew and mostly of St. James, that is the Maurice Bay Polyclinic. So if anyone is near there, they go into Maurice Bay Polyclinic and collect the bait. And for those persons living in St. John and St. Joseph, they could go to the David Thompson Polyclinic. For that's St. John and St. Joseph. St. Philip Polyclinic, the catchment starts at Sky Mall and go from Sky Mall to Fortescue in St. Philip. So persons in those areas could go to St. Philip Polyclinic and collect bait. For persons who in the Randall Phillips Polyclinic, Randall Phillips starts at the Hastings and it ends by Miss Ram Place at Old Berry. Very large catchment. And Winston Scott Polyclinic starts on the side with Woolworth and it ends at Sheraton in Christchurch. So I have just given you all the areas, the catchment areas where persons could collect bait, 2 packs of bait. When I was in the ministry, both at Vector and when I finished at Eunice Gibson Polyclinic, what I used to do is to write to Massey and Jordan's and Carlton and Emerald City in different supermarkets and ask for permission to distribute bait on Saturdays. So I used to distribute bait between 9 and 1 on Saturdays at different locations across the island, because I did that to allow persons who would not be able to collect the bait during the week between 8:30 and 4:30. What I did was to carry the bait to persons in the community. And I think that since I left the ministry, my good friend who went to college with me, Mr. Erskine Springer, he had a session, I think last year. I assisted him at Jordan's in Spikestown and Carlton Supermarket in Black Rock. So I think that the ministry needs to start that back to take the bait to the communities. What I would like to state here is that bait, the brigand bait, you will see it's about 3 ounces of bait. And 12, we did some experiments, and 10 to 12 of those small pellets will kill a rat. So when you collect 1 pack of bait, sometimes persons come to the polyclinic and quarrel and say we only giving them 1 pack of bait. But 1 pack of bait could kill 6 rats. So if you get 2 packs of bait, then you could kill 12 rats. And we did some experiments where we put down some trapped some rats, and we fed them the pellets. So when we got to 10 to 12 pellets, we realized that the pellets would kill 10 to 12 would kill a rat. The bait is what we call a acute bait. Sorry, it's a chronic bait, not an acute bait. And the reason why this bait is made of sugar corn and the active ingredient, the poison. And the reason why this bait is called a chronic bait instead of an acute bait is this bait, we want the bait, when the rat eat the bait, that it will not immediately kill the rat. Because if it immediately kill the rat within hours, then you will get what you call bait shyness, where the other rats, seeing other rats dying, they would avoid the bait. So it takes about 2 days to kill a rat. The poison takes about 2 days to kill a rat. For persons collecting the bait and they're baiting on the outside of the premises, I always advocate that you get some PVC pipe, cut it about 20 to 22 inches in length, 4-inch or 6-inch pipe, and you put the bait up in the pipe. And because the bait, once it gets wet, it do not work as good as if it's dry. So you cut the PVC pipe and you place it on the side of your paling, so to speak. So you should you have these 3 different corners of the yard. So on each side of the yard, you should put down 1 piece of conduit with the poison, so that the rainfall, the bait will not get wet, and also you're protecting birds and dogs and animals from eating the bait. If you do not have the PVC pipe, for those who could afford it, the Environmental Sanitation Unit at Black Rock, down by the Lazaretta in Black Rock, down where the University of the West Indies, there's a building down there where the Animal Control Center is. That department down there, Environmental Sanitation Unit, they build what you call a bait station.
Yes.
And they sell the bait station for $50. They do not build them to make a profit. So it is the same PVC pipe in a concrete structure that keeps the PVC pipe in place. Because if you get the PVC pipe and you put the bait in it, then you have to put a stone to keep it in place from the wind blowing it. But
Yes.
if for those persons who could afford the bait station, they could go there and buy them at $50. If you purchase your own bait station, it is in gray or pink, while the ministry baits Bridgetown, Spoutstown, Holetown, Oistins, and Warrens using the green bait station. So we come at someone's premises and see a green bait station, then that's illegal, because we know that is the government property. And then we could call the police for them. But if you purchase your own bait station, it is either gray or pink. Another innovative where you could bait, you know the big, Marcia, you know the big Coke and Sprite pet bottles?
Yes.
You could get 2, cut the top and bottom of both of them, join them together, and you have a bait station, and you put a stone in the middle to stop it from blowing around, and you could also put the bait up in there. So the big Sprite, not the small ones, 500 the big ones, yes, and you could put the bait up in there. When it was at Vector Control Unit, there's a poison that not even the Ministry of Agriculture had in the possession, only the Vector Control Unit. That bait is called zinc phosphide. Zinc, Z-I-N-C, P-H-O-S-P-H-I-D-E, zinc phosphide. And this zinc phosphide looks like mud. And when it was at the Vector Control Unit, we will go and bait Hastings Rock and Bridgetown.
Yes.
And we would mix that zinc phosphide with food, because it carries a very pungent odor like bleach. So if you just put it down like that, the rats will not eat it. So we would mix it with food, and we are grateful to a lot of the business stores and restaurants in Bridgetown. When it was there, I would go and ask them for food that left back in the evening. They would graciously give me that food, and we will mix it with the zinc. And what happens is that when we put down the zinc phosphide with the food and the rats eat it, it creates a gas called phosphine gas, which destroys the kidneys and liver of the rat. And sometimes when we bait Bridgetown, the next day when we go and check, we will see something 150 to 200 rats that sanitation and Ministry of Agriculture and Environment has to pick up from the rat. It kills in 3 hours.
Wow.
Yes, 3 hours, zinc phosphide. So that is a special bait. That is a bait that we would not, even though I'm retired from the Ministry of Health, and it was a senior person, if I go and ask for that bait, they would not give me. That bait is an extremely dangerous bait.
Oh my God. This is because I'm listening here. I love when I go in the garden. I'm one of those. I always have on my socks and I have on my boots or my sneakers. All right. But I use my hands. I don't do, I have my husband, he bought me a pair of gloves there, and I have the pair of gloves. I still can find it too. Sometimes I lose one, but I still, and only today I only use it because I was using the fork and I didn't want to hurt my hand. But when I'm dealing with the dirt, I like to use my hands. So you're telling me I need to use gloves? Oh, he dropped out at my question. Oh my God, this is so much information, don't you all think? Oh, this is so much, even with the dog food. That is so true. Oh my lordy. Oh my God. When I'm gonna start wearing my gloves. Oh, this is I have to be more careful. Yes. Somebody says it's good. You see, it's good to have cats. Yes, you need a cat. You need cats. You really need cats. Oh my gosh, he dropped out. Mr. Grit, Mr. I mean, let me just give a shout out. Do you see how this man is sitting? He's not reading any papers. He is just speaking it. And somebody been shouting and giving him a shout out here, business finance, and he was saying what a thorough presentation, an excellent presentation, a great credit to the quality of civil servants that we have had, that what we have in Barbados, because he's worked at as a principal environmental health officer, and he has been assigned at the Eunice Gibson Polyclinic in Warrens. This is Maurice Gaskin. He's retired now, but doing an amazing job. Wasn't this thorough, guys? And we have to big up Dr. Hines, Dr. Roderick Hines. This is quality. Dr. Hines, oh my goodness, take a bow. Take a bow, Dr. Hines. You did a great job. And so yes, top notch. I mean, we have top notch people on here. You listened to Stephen Strickland last night as he was speaking about the pensions. That man, you don't need to look in a book. It just comes off his mouth. It comes out of his mouth. You're going to hear Corey Beckles a little later talking about estates law. He's coming in another 2 minutes or so. But Maurice is back. Mr. Gaskin is back. Mr. Gaskin, we have 2 minutes. We were just saying you're doing such an excellent job.
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. Yes. So I was talking about the zinc phosphide. So we mostly bait Hastings Rocks, Oystins, Bridgetown, Whole Town, Spikestown to get a pretty fast knockdown. There's also we in the Ministry of Health, we operate under 25 different regulations, and we have a rodent control regulation which speaks to persons keeping a lot of junk in the premises, or fridges or stores, a lot of refuse. So we could write them and prosecute them for keeping them place untidy under the Health Services Rodent Control Regulations or the Health Services Nuisances Regulations. And the cars, the vehicles, there are about 13,000 derelict vehicles in Barbados. And these vehicles are known to encourage rodent breeding.
Yeah.
And they're unsightly. They block public service vehicles like police, the ambulance, fire truck, and so on. So there's a program now the ministry is putting in place to rid the island of a lot of these derelict vehicles. They're unsightly. They're put, what persons don't realize, they're put down with when they're put down, the gas tank contains fragments of gas and diesel, which could, if persons smoking or there's a fire near around, that these could explode. Persons usually break in people's homes and stash the things in these same vehicles.
Yes.
And then when these parts are exposed to collect water, and we see a lot of mosquito breeding in these vehicles. So, and then they devalue persons' properties. So these vehicles, there are a lot of nuisances surrounding these vehicles. There are about 13,000 of them, and about 14,000, yes, and there are about 14,000 either vacant, dilapidated, or unoccupied houses in Barbados. There are about 14,000. We did a study with them a few years ago, and we discovered there are about 14,000 of these houses and about 13,000 vehicles.
Vehicles. You know what? We're going to have to. I will have to talk with Dr. Hines. That we got to get you back. And when we come back,
I'm available whenever you want me. I'm available.
Awesome. We're going to work on your camera and your sound because we want to hear you properly. Okay, we're going to work on that. But you did an excellent job. Let me take this opportunity to thank you. The 30 minutes just went so quickly.
So quickly, yes. Yeah.
But we're going to come back and do a part 2. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Okay. And thanks for inviting me.
Yes, sir. You did an amazing job.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you for helping.
Yeah. Okay then. Right. Thanks, Emma. Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Wow. Oh my goodness, folks. That was solid. Whoa. I learned a lot from that. Well, after all of that, rats, talking about rats, rodents. Well, the only one we talked about, rodent, we talked about today was rats and mice. Okay, we didn't go into others. As somebody said, rabbit is a rodent as well. And we didn't go into anything else. But my goodness, wow. That's all I can say. This left me speechless. Somebody said I need to stop going into garden without the gloves. I'm going to really try. This is a wake-up call for me. Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to move right. You know, we do Emma. We educate, we motivate, we mobilize, and we agitate. And we're in that educating mode. And we have our very, very well-learned lawyer here, Mr. Corey Beckles, and have you been learning a lot from him? People are messaging me. Even tonight, people messaging me. People, we are learning so much from Attorney Corey Beckles. Let me use this opportunity to welcome you, sir. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show. You're muted, sir.
Yes, good evening.
Good
Marcia,
evening. Yes,
thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. We are ready. Look, I got my notebook here. I just took notes on those rodents, and I'm ready now. I'm ready for the rights of beneficiaries, estate without will.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Very good.
We ready.
All right. So I'm not certain how much how much information persons remembered since last Monday. I may have to start giving some homework.
Or
some tests.
Yes, we need to get homework.
right? Because it's a lot of information,
Yes,
right?
you
And
need
it's
to
very
get homework.
important that we take note of everything. But this evening, we're talking about the rights of beneficiaries again. Last week, I spoke about the rights of beneficiaries when there is a will. So now I will be speaking concerning the rights of beneficiaries when there is no will. So when there is no will, when a deceased does not leave a will prior to their death, that is referred to as dying intestate. So we have dying intestate when you leave a will, but when you do not leave a will prior to your death, you die intestate. And the beneficiaries of that deceased individual will have to apply to the court for an application or make an application to the probate registry called an application for letters of administration. Now, which is different to an application to probate a will. Because when we have a will, we have the name of an executor, the person who is going to take over, who is going to make sure that the contents of the will are carried out.
Yes.
That is the executor. But when there is no will, then there's really nobody, there's no one that has been named. There's no one that the deceased has chosen that the beneficiaries can look at and see, well, this is the individual that will take over the management of the estate. So in that event, we have to look to see who are the family members of the deceased individual. And if the deceased has a spouse, the spouse is the beneficiary. That's one beneficiary when that deceased individual dies without a will. We have the spouse, we have children, we also have the parents. So I want us to take note of this. Spouse, children, parents of the deceased, and we also have the siblings of
So
the
let me
deceased.
ask you a question. Is it in that order that the courts look at it in that order?
All right, yes. So the Succession Act. The courts will follow what is written within the law. And the law refers to the beneficiaries or to those individuals.
Yes, he's stuck, but he's usually gets unstuck soon. In the meantime, guys, go ahead and
Yeah, I
share
think
a
I'm back.
like. Yes, you're back. Go right
Yeah,
ahead.
the categories of those individuals is the spouse. So you'll find this written in our law. The spouse, we have the children, and then we have the parents or the siblings of the deceased. Of course, and we call this you mentioned the order. We call this the order of priority. The order of priority. So spouse, children, parents, siblings. If there is no such individuals who are alive, then we go down the line. We keep going down. So whenever you are making that application to the probate registry for letters of administration, usually the spouse of that deceased individual has the priority to make the application. After the spouse, then we have the children. After the spouse, we have the children. But in some jurisdictions, we have the spouse. Then we also have if there's no children. So everything is based on who is alive.
Right.
When that person is no longer with us.
So let's go over again. So spouse, the children, then parents, then siblings.
Yeah. Then siblings.
Yeah.
Right. So, and we're talking about the rights. We will get into some more aspects of the beneficiaries. What is the shares, the amount of shares or portion that each beneficiary will receive. But as it relates to the rights of the beneficiaries, it is very important that you know, whoever is making the application, they must know which place or which position in the priority they are in. Now, let's say we have a spouse and children. If you have a spouse and children who are still alive after the deceased passes away, the parents are not part of, they cannot benefit. As long as we have spouse and children, then a portion goes to the spouse and a portion goes to the children. As long as there is a spouse, as long as there are children, then we don't even speak about the parents. We don't even speak about the sibling.
Very interesting.
If there is a spouse but no children, then we go to the parents of the deceased. And sometimes you may not be, your parents of the deceased may not be alive. So then that is how we go to the siblings. So if there is a spouse, no children, then the spouse will inherit and also the parents will inherit. If there are no parents who are alive, then the spouse and the siblings will inherit the estate of the deceased. And we're still talking about the rights of the beneficiaries when a person dies intestate. And this is important because I know that persons speak a lot about the importance of wills and making wills. The law will determine, if you do not make a will, the law will determine what or who your property goes to, depending on the situation, the family dynamics, the family situation, who is alive. The law will determine who your property goes to. That is why it's very, very important that you decide before you leave this world. You make a decision what you want to do with your property and who you want to give your property, your assets to.
But Mr. Beckles, say for example, a wife and husband, you know, they live together, they don't have any children, the husband passes. It is understood then, based on what you're saying to me, that what he's left, if he has no will, is left to the wife.
Yeah, that is the general understanding. And you will have situations where even the parents, if they're still alive, and the siblings, they will recognize, well, everything should go to the wife. But that is not what the laws of Barbados say. Because the laws of Barbados also give, when there are no children, a spouse and no children, the laws of Barbados give the parents or the siblings, as the case may be, the opportunity to benefit from the estate of their deceased relative.
So they can well demand.
They can basically demand. So we're talking about the rights of beneficiaries. They can actually demand an interest in the estate. Right. So, and this is very important because we have a spouse, and spouse is grieving. Spouse is really not even thinking about these the rights of beneficiaries. They're not thinking that the parents or even the siblings may inherit the asset. The main asset usually is the house or that matrimonial home. Now, there are other issues, legal issues, that will come into play. So let's say that the house was acquired by both the husband and the wife. Now, if it is acquired by both the husband and the wife, it means we go back now to what we learned as joint tenants. If it is joint tenancy, as it relates to the property, now we know that the survivor takes the full ownership of the property. So the siblings or the parents or any interest they may have does not come into play when we're dealing with joint property.
Right. You did that last time. Yeah.
Right. But there are situations where the property is not a jointly owned property. There are situations where the property is in the deceased name alone. Now, this is what causes issues in settling estates. Because as I said, once there's no children, the spouse who is alive, yes, will receive a benefit, but parents and siblings, as the case may be, can also come into the mix, and they will normally write a letter or let the spouse know, well, we want to receive what belongs to us. right?
Okay.
And that causes issues in and of itself.
I can imagine. You let me know when you want any questions from the audience, but I believe you
Oh
have
yeah,
one.
as the questions come, just let me know,
Okay, well,
and I
there's
will
there's
answer.
one here from a Joanne Roberts.
Right.
She says, if you were given a deed of gift, you're not married or have children, who will inherit if you die suddenly?
Right. If you're not married, you don't have any children, but you do have family members, right? So the right of inheritance, as long as you die without a will, the right of inheritance depends on which family member is alive when you pass. Whether
Okay.
it's the parents, whether it's the siblings. There is a term that persons usually are familiar with, the next of kin,
Yes.
right? So we are usually familiar with this term, next of kin. So if you're not a parent, if you're not a spouse, if you're not a parent, if you're not a child, if you're not a sibling, if you're not a niece, a nephew, you go down the line. The law determines that there must be someone in your family line. If you can't find the spouse, if you can't find the child, if you can't find the parent, if you can't find the siblings, if you can't find niece, nephew, grandchildren, as the case may be, if there's no one, the usual beneficiaries, if we cannot find those, then the law looks for who is next in line in
Yes.
your family.
Yes.
So
Okay.
you go down the line, the family line, and you look for a next of kin. Who is
Yes.
closest? Who is the closest family member to you? And that individual will inherit.
Yes.
But
And
there's
it
an order of priority.
order priority. Yes. And it Brewster is asking, can a nursing home take your house if it's in a trust?
No, no, they cannot. A nursing home. Well, I am trying to think about any situation where a nursing home will be able to take your home unless you give them the right to your home, or you transfer the home to them.
So, guys, he's stuck. In the meantime, can you like and share? If you're on here tonight and this is you're getting a lot of education through this channel, we're going to ask you kindly to like and share and spread it. Spread the knowledge. All right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So
Yes. Go ahead.
unless you intend to give the nursing home your property, whether by will, whether by deed of gift, it is very difficult for the nursing home to touch that property unless you give them a specific right prior to your passing. If the property is in a trust, then the property is even further secured
Right.
or fenced in. And whoever is, let's say, a third party, in this case, in nursing home will be a third party. Unless you state in your trust that the nursing home has some interest in that property, then I can't envision a situation where the nursing home will be able to take your home in that circumstance.
Wow. Okay. Somebody is asking, there's another question here. If that's one, when you were talking about how it's apportioned.
Right.
So it's
Yes.
a 1/3 and 2/3 of the estate for the spouse and children.
Right. Correct. Yes. So as long as there's a spouse and children, the spouse will take a third of the estate,
Uh,
and 2/3 will be divided between the children.
between the children. Okay. Okay,
Right.
boy,
So the
I did
children
not
will
know that.
receive a bigger portion
Right.
of the estate.
Oh, I didn't know that, sir. I'm.
Right.
Oh my lordy, this is really good information. There's a question here that Christian is saying. Christian girl Natty says, if a person dies without a will, can a common law spouse be included in the estate? The deceased was not married.
Yes. Yes. Short answer is yes. But for a common law spouse, the spouse, that common law spouse or intended or prospective common law spouse, must be declared to be a common law spouse.
How do you do
Right?
that?
So, yeah, so they must be declared in law to be a common law spouse. And usually that is done by going to court, and the court will make a decision as to whether or not this individual is really the common law spouse of the deceased.
So they have to establish that. He's stuck. Guys, like and share. Okay, thank you, Jacqueline. Jacqueline says she liked and shared on Facebook.
Right.
Like and share. Continue. You got stuck.
Right, yes,
so
I'm back. Right, unless the deceased did something to show the world, identify this individual as their common law spouse, the common law spouse the prospective or intended common law spouse will have to go to the court to be declared a common law spouse. Of course, there's no marriage certificate to show or to prove that you are the spouse. So in this case, you need a declaration from the court that you are indeed, or at the date of death of that individual, you were their common law spouse. And to be a common law spouse, you have to be residing with them for 5 years, at 5 years or more prior to their death. 5 years or more prior to their death. And I see this question here. Don't let me lose this question.
Yes, no, I have it there.
Because there's another issue as relates to common law spouses. Now, when two individuals are in a relationship, the Succession Act refers to a single man, single woman, residing together as husband and wife for 5 years or more. A single man or single woman residing as husband and wife. Everything they're doing tells the entire world, yes, there's they're doing the same things.
Yeah. So they're doing everything together.
The prospective common law spouse will provide the evidence that they are indeed, or they were indeed living as a common law spouse, living as husband and wife with the deceased individual. Right? If there's a will where the children have inherited, can they leave their children their portion? Yes, the short answer to that question is yes. If there is a will where the children have inherited, can those children leave their children their portion? They can, but it all depends on what the will says. Now, the will may give the property to the children of the deceased as joint tenants. And again, we go to the joint tenancy and the tenancy in common.
Yes.
With a joint tenancy, remember, whoever is the survivor takes the entire portion. So it is important that if land, property, assets are left,
yes, we're on it. That it's breaking up, and we're just asking you in that time. Just hang on. He comes back.
Right. Yes, yes. It seems in and out. Right, but we will move forward. Right. So the last thing we're speaking about is the will and joint tenancy. Remember, you have to sever the joint tenancy. You must sever that joint tenancy. If the will gives the assets to the children as tenants in common, then of course, automatically the children.
Yeah, we're getting some interference here. The internet is cutting out. Yeah.
The amount of work that you will have to do depends on what is written in the will. But just be reminded concerning the joint tenancy and the tenancy in common.
Yes.
That is important.
What exactly what it is. Okay, there is somebody's saying here, there was another question, but what happens when the man leaves the wife and lives with another woman, lives with her for years and has children from both relationships, but does not divorce the wife? What is going to happen there?
All right, yeah. So we have a complicated matter.
It's
Now,
complicated.
I'm going to go back from the beginning. What happens when the man leaves the wife, right? So he's separated. So we start with the separation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you are separated from your spouse for 5 years or more, that spouse, let's say you die, your surviving spouse cannot inherit. They lose the right of inheritance as long
5
as you can,
years.
as long as you can show separation for 5 years or more. The right of inheritance, even for your legal spouse, the legal spouse loses the right of inheritance. Right? That is the first thing. And that is something that is very important. The right of inheritance is lost as long as the individuals have been separated.
That is serious. My God, can you imagine you're with somebody for 30 years, and my gosh, go ahead,
Right,
continue.
yeah. So the issue now comes into play because when that individual has died, they're still not divorced. They're still not divorced. Now, what is going to be interesting is how the law will treat to the individual who the deceased lived with when they die. Remember, as long as 5 years has passed, 5 years or more, the spouse, the legal spouse, loses the right of inheritance. The individual whom the deceased was living with will have to claim to be a common law spouse. She will have to claim, he or she will have to claim that they were a common law spouse. But remember, this individual is still not divorced. Still not divorced. Now, it will be a very, not an impossible task, but the prospective common law spouse will have to prove the 5-year period, the
Right.
5-year period of separation. They will have to prove that they were indeed living as man and wife for 5 years or more. Of course, they have children, so that also is part of the evidence. But remember, the law states it must be a single man or a divorced man, and a single man, single woman, or divorced man, divorced woman. Now, there is another case, Marcia. There's a very important case that was heard a few years back, called Selby and Smith. We don't have the time to go into that case right now, but next week, God willing, I will give some more information into that case, because that's
We
a
have
very
about
important
5 minutes right now. 5 minutes, yeah.
Right, that's a very important case as it relates to divorced individuals, not just divorced individuals. This case really set a precedent as relates to what is the requirement to become a common law spouse in cases such as the question that was asked. And it's very important that we understand what that case said and what it did not say. Very important what the case said and what it did not say. Now, I have some notes concerning the case. I'm going to bring those notes next week.
Next week,
So
yes.
don't let me forget, Marcia. Some very, very important notes. Some
It's
very, very
Selby,
important.
Selby, you said Selby versus?
Yes, Selby and Smith. Selby, Selby, against Smith, Smith. And this case went from the High Court of Barbados to the Barbadian Court of Appeal to the Caribbean Court of Justice. And the Caribbean Court of Justice made their ruling. And as we know, the Caribbean Court of Justice is our highest court, highest court of appeal. So we recognize their judgments, and whatever they say really goes as relates to legal authority.
Yes. There is a question that came via WhatsApp. It came actually 7:30 this evening. And
Trinidad,
I guess I'm seeing a question that came from someone from overseas actually. Sent
right.
a question at 7:30. So I'm have to make sure I don't call their names, but they said, "Good night, please. Can you ask Mr. Beckles what happens when a sibling from a family of 8 dies without a will? There's the estate that comes with a vehicle and bank account." Okay,
Right.
and they want to know what happens. I don't know. You understand the question?
Right. Yes, I understand. So
Okay.
again, it comes down to who is alive, who is the if the spouse. Remember, we have the order of priority. So we start with a spouse. Is there a spouse? And we come down the line. Are there children? We know that they're siblings.
Mm-hmm.
We know that they're siblings because one of the siblings are present. They're asking the question. Are the
Mm-hmm.
parents alive? All of these questions must be answered. If you cannot find any spouse, if you cannot find any children, if you cannot find any parents, if they're no longer with us, then it comes down.
Yes, Valerie, this is very good information. And
Paradise. It all
yes,
depends on who is alive when that individual passes. So
yeah,
it depends on who is alive, Marcia.
depends on who is alive. So it will just go
Depends
down.
on who is alive.
Remember, spouse, children, parents, siblings, right? It goes down the line like that, the order of priority. All right. Okay, there's one last question we can do here. And then we will close until next week. If your parents died and there's no will, but the eldest daughter paid the land tax, is she entitled to the property? That's a big question there for you, Mr. Beckles.
All right, yes. And this is a general principle. Paying the land tax does not give any individual a right or interest or a right of legal interest in a property.
You said
It
that
does not. That
drastically.
is
You said that before. Go ahead.
right. Yeah, that is the general principle. Paying the land tax does not give any individual a legal right or interest in a piece of property, whether it's land, whether it's house and land. Paying the land tax does not. That is a general principle. If that individual is claiming an interest, then they have to prove more other than paying the land tax. And there's some other things we can get into as relates to how do you prove ownership.
Mm.
Yeah, paying land tax by itself does not give you a right of ownership.
Yes, but you can, as you're saying, as we go on, you'll be able to to give us some
All right, yes.
other
Some other legal principles
legal principles.
that come into play.
Right. Well, in your final 2 minutes, what do you want to say? Can you just to wrap up with our audience until next week? It went by so fast.
Right, yes, it always does. And I didn't even get into the practical side as
I
relates to
know.
the rights of beneficiaries,
Next
as
week.
relates to the notice that must be given to all beneficiaries when a person dies without a will. But I want us to take away, as long as you're a beneficiary, as long as you are, well, any individual whose family member has died, you must make sure you know where you stand as relates to the order of priority. And it's very important that the beneficiaries know who they are. And if you are if you're a co-beneficiary, meaning that there are other beneficiaries alongside you, it is very important that you don't run ahead of the other beneficiaries.
Right.
If we have beneficiaries who are on the same level, and this is another principle, if we have beneficiaries who are on the same level, so siblings are on the same level, even though we have the eldest sibling, and the eldest sibling may take over, but in the eyes of the law, they are on the same level. All of them are siblings. And it's very important, if the siblings are the main beneficiaries, it's very important that the siblings sit down, speak to each other, and determine what they want to do as relates to the management and the settlement of the estate. Even if one of them is going to make the application to the court, I can't stress this enough. Sit down, and discuss, because at the end of the day, no one beneficiary can run in front of the other legally. As long as you are a co-beneficiary, you are both, let's say 3 individuals, you are all entitled to a portion of the estate. And the law will make sure that you get a portion of the estate. But I find that we have situations where one beneficiary may not be communicating with the other, and then that delays the settlement of the estate, because we know how
Okay. He stopped. Can we go? He's go right back. Yes.
correct, yes, and that delays the settlement of the estate. So remember, you want your portion of the estate, but if you are not communicating, it may become a contentious matter. And at the end of the day, 10 years pass, 20 years pass, and no one receives their portion. It's very important that beneficiaries sit down and discuss as much as you can. Sit down and discuss. If you can't sit down and discuss it, then that is where attorneys come into play. But I always advise, even if there are multiple attorneys, let the clients sit down with each other and do alternative dispute resolution. Try your best not to go into the court system to settle estate matters when it can be settled at a meeting.
Well, thank you so much again, Mr. Beckles. And I just forwarded 2 persons your number because they're messaging me. But thank you for the education. We appreciate it very much. Yes.
You're welcome. I will get this internet connection stabilized.
Yes, and I have something I can tell you about. I can talk to you about that. So we have, and I need to remind you about Selby versus Smith for next week as well. So we got homework.
Yes, for next week. Yes.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So we already have the topic for next week.
Yes, and yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Attorney Beckles. God bless you.
All right. You're welcome. Have a good evening.
Yes. Thanks. Folks, another great moment. Oh gosh, I'm learning so much. I'm like, oh wow, oh wow. Well, and there's so many questions. If you need to, if you still have questions and you need them answered, you can message me. I can either send them to Mr. Beckles for you. Yeah, I could send them to Mr. Beckles for you, right? So that you can get your questions answered. Okay, excellent presentation. Please share it with somebody even after the show has ended. All right, now we are waiting because we know what normally happens right now. Dr. Alleyne is usually on at this time, and he has sent us his presentation. However, he's not in the country. He messaged us and told us, he said, Marcia, I'm trying my best to get home. I'm on the street wherever he is, whatever country he's in. I'm not going to give out that information. And he says, I am trying my best to get home. So, but he's prepared to give the presentation. So what I did, I created a segment while we wait on him. And I think that this segment is very, very important. It's something that I want to, when I'm finished with Car Festa Files, I want to pick this up. Okay. Excuse me. I want to continue this. I want to take this as a series, actually, because as I said at the top, of the show that while we might notice the discrepancy there, or the contradiction is the word I'm looking for with our leader, with the Prime Minister, and the fact that she was pushing climate change. Dave, I don't know if you can put back that first picture that we had up. And it's funny and it's shocking and all of those emotions. The issue about oil for Barbados is a serious issue. It is not something that to be taken lightly. It is, I mean, what our initial reaction to that contradiction, we have to comment on it. We comment on it because it's shocking. It's shocking. So we do comment on it. Okay. However, we still need to look at the seriousness of it. And we want to look at the history of oil in Barbados. Barbados was already an oil nation. How many of you know that Barbados has already been an oil nation? Anybody? Anybody? Okay, so we're gonna jump into the segment, right? So across Barbados, there is this discussion that is happening, and on my page, my Facebook page, yes, a lot of discussion is happening, which is good. There's a growing discussion about offshore oil exploration, right? And the possibility of future drilling. Many of you watching, you're on one side of the coin or the other, right? Some people believe that this oil represents opportunity. How many of you believe it represents opportunity? If that's you, give a thumbs up, right? Others believe it represents risk. Thumbs down for those who believe it represents risks. But before we can intelligently discuss the future or whether it's an opportunity or a risk, I think it is important that we understand the past. Would you agree? And I must say that in doing this research today, I learned so much. I'm telling you, I don't know about you, but I learned so much from this show, preparing for the show, and I also learned from the other guests. Many Barbadians do not know the shocking truth that Barbados has been producing oil for more than, wait for it, more than a century, more than 100 years old. More than 100 years. Oil is not new to Barbados. How many of you knew that Barbados had been producing oil for more than a century? More than 100 years. Yes. Oil is not new. Right? So what we're looking at tonight is how did we get here? Okay, who came looking for oil? What did they find? And importantly, what lessons have we learned over those years? And in order to look at the history, we have to go at the beginning. We have to make up our minds and learn from history. And this is not nice and juicy and all of these and gossipy, but it is very, very important, because when we are having a discussion, you can have an informed discussion, you can have an informed conversation. You are speaking facts, you're speaking with understanding, you're speaking from knowledge. So the oil, there's a picture that we have there, really, where you see the oil coming from the ground in Barbados, because Barbados sits on a unique geological formation in the Eastern Caribbean. And what I found out today, that this is unlike many Caribbean islands that are volcanic in origin. Barbados was formed differently. And actually, we had a little thing we had done on the show a couple months ago. So over centuries, because Barbados was formed differently than the other Caribbean islands that are volcanic in origin, over centuries, natural oil seepages have appeared in certain parts of the island. Am I the only one who knows this? So long before you had modern drilling equipment arrived, right? People were reportedly, finding oil emerging from the earth. Did you all know that story? Did you all know that story? Look at the picture. Look at the pictures that we have on here. I think we have another one that's a landscape. I don't know if Dave can find that. There's a landscape one. The oil is pouring up from, look at this. So it is like this. This is just an example. Natural seepages of oil coming up. Yeah. It's important for us to understand it, okay? Now, the records show that crude oil was actually collected from those shallow pits. And it was used for lubrication, waterproofing. They used to use it for, back in those days, medicinal purposes. Crude oil for medicinal purposes. I would love to know what medicinal purpose that might be. If you know, you can put it in the comment section. Lighting applications. Yes, makes sense. So oil in Barbados predates modern history. The modern industry, I'm sorry. Oil in Barbados predates modern industry. So all this talk about oil right now, we're talking about 1700s. That's when the natural seepages were observed, where the oil was collected from the shallow pits. For that's in the 1700s, people. Now, here comes 1896. So that was in the 1700s, 1896. A company called West India Petroleum Oil Company. West India Petroleum Oil Company. They began drilling operations here. And this wasn't just an experiment they were doing. These people actually believed, they were investors, and they believed that Barbados might contain commercially valuable petroleum resources. So they were very serious. It wasn't just curiosity. You know, this was a serious investment here. Okay. So they started in 1896. This is the West India Petroleum Oil Company. They began drilling operations. But by 1910, 14 wells had been drilled. And more than 25,000 barrels of oil had reportedly been produced. Think about that. So they were drilling they started drilling in 1896. Okay? And by 1910, 14 wells had been drilled. And more than 25,000 barrels of oil had reportedly been produced. Think about that. That was happening before aviation, before television, before Barbados was independent. We're talking about 1910. Anybody learn this in history school? Did anybody learn this history in school? Why is this almost forgotten, you know? So if you're remembering, 1896, okay? In 1896, I think that's the other graphic. No, Dave. 1896, the West India Petroleum Oil Company, they did the first mechanized drilling. 14 wells drilled and over 25,000 barrels produced by 1910. The big question is, was it worth it for this this company? Was it worth it? 25,000 barrels sound impressive, right? Sound impressive? The question is, was it enough? Anybody out there want to answer that? Was it enough? Wow, the chat here has a lot in the chat. I will have to read the chat when I'm finished. But anybody out there, did you think that 25,000 barrels that's enough? Anybody? No, the answer appears to be no, it wasn't enough. So the early wells, they demonstrated to us that oil really existed. Okay, that oil existed. However, it's the production volumes. What they found was the production volumes were limited. This was from back in 10. And so the industry struggled to become a major commercial success. They did several exploration efforts. They came and went. Companies arrived and companies left. In all that time, investors became interested, and then investors lost interest. Because, you know, if investors not making any money, they're going to lose interest. And so that pattern would define much of Barbados's oil history. This is how Barbados oil history began. There was hope, like we have now, discovery, there's great expectation, then disappointment. And it's repeated over and over. That's what I found in the history, our oil history. Now, why does Barbados even have oil? And what I found is that organic material accumulated beneath the seabed. This is millions of years ago. Organic material accumulated beneath the seabed. Pressure and heat transformed that organic material, and petroleum, that's how we became, that's how the oil then reached into our reservoirs, right? The organic material accumulated beneath the seabed, and then through pressure and heat, it's transformed into petroleum, and then it goes into the reservoirs. Now, I found out today that Barbados possesses the ingredients necessary for what is called hydrocarbons. So the question has never been, is there oil? The question has always been, is there enough oil to make extraction commercially viable? The question has never been, is there oil? The question has always been, is there enough oil to make extraction commercially viable? So if oil has been in Barbados for centuries, why has a large-scale production never occurred? What did the early drillers discover? Some of you out there might know, you might already know the answer to this. What mistakes did they make? Don't you think that that is important? What did government learn? And not just this government, the government before, all of these prime ministers, all of these governments before, what did they learn? Why did some companies leave? What made later companies return? And most importantly, the most important question is this. If Barbados has been exploring for oil for more than 100 years, why are we still searching? That's a question I came up with today after reading through all the material. If we have been exploring for oil for more than 100 years, why are we still searching? Next week, we're going to talk about the first drillers. Who were the companies that came to Barbados? We want to look at that. Who financed them? How much money did they spend? What did they find? Those first drillers. Why did they walk away? We're going to go a little in depth about that. And what did they leave behind? There's a saying that says, and I wrote it down, let me read it for you. A people who do not understand the history beneath their feet may struggle to understand the future beneath their seas. A people who do not understand the history beneath their feet may struggle to understand the future beneath their seas. And so this is where I end this episode, but I say to everybody, this is something that you will need to take very, very seriously. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. Let me read some of your comments now. Pedro is saying that them searching, it seems they found and looking for drillers. Lemuel Tull said it might not only be the amount, but also the quality. The U.S. has more oil than anybody else, yet they have to import most of what they need. So far, what I have found, Lemuel, the history is saying it is the amount. That those that came, that drilled before the companies, they found that it was not commercially viable. The amount is not commercially viable. Tanisha says that the government is talking about these millions of barrels. Where would all this oil be coming from now? I hope this wouldn't be more waste of money. Not sufficient oil. That is what the history says. They might be able to find more. I don't know, but they've been drilling, been going over 100 years. And that has been always what happens, that they believe it's not commercially viable. Oh, Sharon, you used to see it. You used to see it seeping out the clay. I would love to see that. Anybody else have seen the oil seeping out the earth? Yes, Vaseline petroleum jelly. Yes. Okay. There's a caller. Remember to call me WhatsApp. If you're calling, you're gonna have to call WhatsApp. Okay. If you're calling, call what? Okay, there's a caller here, but you've got to call WhatsApp call. Please. Let me see if I could get him back. Let's see if I could get him. There's a caller.
Yes, I'm back.
Yes. Okay. Welcome. 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 Good to
I
hear
can give
you.
you a history of the oil.
Yes. Go right ahead.
I've also seen the oil. Yeah, I've seen the oil on a piece of land that I work oozing out of the ground.
Yes, sir.
Oozing out of the ground.
Okay, turn off what you're listening to me on, because
Andrew.
but we want to hear you. So turn off the device that you're listening to me on. I can.
Yeah, I work land on sturgeons.
Yes, sir.
Where the oil actually poured out of the ground and just run down. Some people call it green tar, but it's natural oil. Yes. That's one thing. Next thing, they're talking about the production. There was always a reason why the production of oil in Barbados never came to this thing. It isn't that it wasn't enough. It was a problem between Barbados and Trinidad. And they've always said the vein that Trinidad exploited was the vein from Barbados. We even had a problem for Barbadians fishermen to go to Trinidad and fish. And this was all an oil problem. Never was ever solved because everybody knew that it was not just only fish, but it was a big oil problem. Even the fact that we drill oil in Barbados and send it to Trinidad, it was refined by Trinidad and sold to the Yankees at a cheaper price than the Barbadians. All of these are the problems that we have with the oil in Barbados, because Barbados is always extorted by the other countries around it.
So you're saying that because you're going offshore, because I spoke to somebody today and they were saying that it's going to be very difficult for Barbados to go offshore and not, get into another country, because we are so close to all the different countries. So you're saying that part of...
We was given one of the biggest oil sections in the world. And it was a problem with Trinidad for years. When Barbadians wanted to go to Trinidad and catch flying fish, it was a big problem. Barbados would remember this here, the flying fish problem. But it never was flying fish. It was flying oil. These are things that so complicated that nobody even wanted to discuss. But these are the realities of life in Barbados.
Yes.
Nobody wanted to discuss it.
Yeah.
It's back here again. And if you check, this is a situation where Trinidad is not even getting any oil at this point in time. Trinidad oil situation is drying up. Trinidad and Barbados always had a problem because of the offshore amount of sections that Barbados had, and Trinidad was always opposed to it. So Barbados actually had a steady background while Trinidad drill oil. Venezuela was now giving Trinidad oil because Trinidad oil is almost dried up. And in comes Mr. Trump and destroy the whole situation. That is the problem in the Caribbean.
Okay. So tell me...
Then I'll probably call again and talk of it. But talk to the Barbadians and they'll tell you what the flying fish problem and the oil.
Yeah, I was here with the flying fish, but I didn't realize it was also connected to oil. But let me ask you, go back to St. Andrew. You were saying that in your field...
Yeah, sturgeons.
Sturgeons. Tell me about that.
There's a well in sturgeons that they block off.
Hello? Are you there?
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't hear you.
Yes, go ahead. You said there's a well in Sturgis that is blocked off.
There's a well in Sturgis.
There's
a well in Sturgis where the land slips. Yeah, that they block off for years. That the actual oil was pouring out of the ground. You can go there right now if the people will allow you to go there, and you'll see it. I have a can of the natural oil home at my house that I caught from there.
Really? I would love to, listen, you need to, I need to go and see that.
People call it green tar.
Yes, somebody said
this is the natural oil. The old people use it for medication.
Okay. Somebody said it's used for stiff joints and aches and pains.
It ran so much. It ran right down into the the other side of Sturgis, because the land had slipped into Sturgis, into the I don't remember what the other area called where the land slipped.
Yeah.
When you come on the corner, you see the well, and all the land to the other side slipped and went down into I don't remember the name of the area, but you can still go there and see the actual presence of the oil coming out of the earth.
Okay, I've never seen that. I would. Anybody else out there have ever seen it? I would love to see that with my eyes. I would love to go there with my camera and see it. Right. Oh, here Dave is saying green tar and rata used for medicine. Green tar, I guess green tar is the oil, right, that you're talking about. Ras? Don't listen. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. This is the natural oil pouring out of the ground.
Wow. Wow. So can you the oil you have at your house, is something you can cook with or not really?
No. It's nothing to cook with. It's a very thick oil. It's the natural crude pouring from the earth.
Wow. That's very interesting. Green tar. Somebody said the green tar was black. Yes. And they gave you for worms.
It's not really black because it's oil.
Yes.
Yeah, and you want people rub the back and the legs.
Wow. I need to go get me some of that. So you said it was blocked off. It was blocked off by whom?
I don't actually know, but it was the people who did the drilling.
Okay.
The people who did the first drilling, some of the early drillers in Barbados. It's a natural pipe lock off.
Oh. Oh, okay. Okay, and it's okay, so it's locked up.
This is the well that most people thought was compromised in Barbados. It didn't produce. It was a compromise.
Explain.
They never wanted us to know the true value of what was here in Barbados.
Who is they? And you're still listening to me because I'm hearing myself.
The people who did the early drilling, they just shut it off.
Oh, okay, interesting. And that's what you're alleging might have happened.
It's not an allege because they came afterwards and instead of drilling in St. Andrew, they came years after, and rather than drilling in St. Andrew, they drill in St. Philip. If you check right now, you will see that most of the drilling is done in St. Philip and nothing in St. Andrew.
But why then, if they lock it off, why wouldn't they go back there for it? Yeah. Are you listening? You're listening? Ras?
Yeah, I'm listening to my phone. Right. Sometimes a lot of things, most things in Barbados is never explained.
Right. So you're saying that they started it at St. Andrew, and for some reason they have gone to St. Philip. Could it be that they realize that it's not commercially viable to drill in St. Andrew?
Yeah, because
you're listening, and so there's a delay.
If there's really oil that's coming out of the earth, that's the best place to drill. Why would you leave the best place to drill and go to St. Philip? They're still pulling oil from the wells in St. Philip, sending it to Trinidad, and paying twice the price for their own oil as the Yankees is paying for it from the same Trinidad. Nobody tells you this.
Okay. Well, caller, I mean, this is a lot for me to go and do some more research on. I will call you. I'm going to give you a call for sure to see if we could. I want to be able to see where the oil is coming out of the ground. I want to see it for myself. And and I think this is why
if we can get together and we can get on the spot, I'll take you and show you where the well is.
Yes, sir. I would love to see it. I would love to see it. I've never seen anything like that. I've just seen it in pictures. But I would like to see it in real life. Thank you very much for your call. Very informative. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, guys, the phone line is open. We were waiting on Dr. Alleyne, but I'm not hearing him. Okay. So I think he probably did not get to where he needed to go on time. So the phone line is open. You can it's good because we haven't been able to do a lot of calling in a long time. So this is good for you to call in, and let me read some of your comments. You know what I realized? There's a lot of what should I put it? Misinformation and a lot of stories and a lot of folklore about this oil, because I started to talk to some people already, and it's good. I'm hoping that over the next couple of weeks that we could actually go into the history and say what we, at least what has been recorded as facts. Okay. And let's talk about the history and not just the hearsay. Yes. Good night, caller. Good night. Okay. It's not connecting. Yes. All right. Folks, I just want to read a couple of your comments because I'm curious. Annette Brewster says Trinidad oil turned their beaches black because of the oil. Good night, caller. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show. Wow, don't am I on speaker? There's a noise. There's a noise. Take.
Good night.
Yes, good night. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good night, Marcia and all of the opposition.
Good night. What's on your mind?
Yes, what's on my mind? No, we had this discover oil, which was everything. We should be up to date when it comes to oil now, which is based on energy. Mm-hmm. And another thing, we gotta get more serious on producing more, because I feel that the electricity price will able to go down. Also, the water is based on free electricity, so the water bills and the electricity bills should be running more cheaper. And I hope that Barbados could benefit off of this oil drilling, because near BLP, like to know the setting off everything. Mm-hmm. So we can't afford that to happen, because Barbados, we went too much a suffering crisis. So it's about time that Barbadians get involved now and gonna get to own a lot, Yeah. So basically, if people investing, the oil reserves, and even going to try to see if they can, put more or better oil into the gas stations, etc.
Yes.
And even going to export it. You know what I'm saying? Because the youngsters we need some foreign exchange too also.
Yeah, so you're thinking this is a good idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea because any day, there's a lot of wars going on.
Mm-hmm.
Be desperate, you need the energy. So we can't afford to the moves because you can't depend on the sun because it's just double climate change. So you know, we're in like everyday barbers get sun.
So you're one of those that you're hoping that it works for Barbados.
Of course, because the both time Barbados really benefit because we don't benefit off enough because all we do is sell, depend, borrow. Sell, depend, borrow. And actually, we should go on and like independent. Not to go up other countries depend on you know or some more resources, etc. You know what I'm saying? Because that's be a whole the way it's supposed to be got our bar. You know, you had the roots of that. People should look at the Barbados, not look at the Barbados.
Yeah. So you believe it's good. Well, thank you so much, caller. Thank you for calling.
My name is Tony Hall. Blessings to everyone.
Good night, Tyrone. All right. God bless you. Bye-bye. Yeah. Yes. Lemuel Tull is saying did not just drop out of the sky. Barbados National Oil Company. Okay. Yeah, did not just drop out the sky. Don't mind they changed the name. We also had a company called Barbados Mastic Asphalt Company. Okay, I'm going to search for that one. I didn't see that one today. Barbados Mastic Asphalt Company. So guys, the phone line is open and call in. Do you have any stories about oil in Barbados? Have you seen it? Somebody's saying here, look at the oil wells in Woodburn in St. Philip. Okay, this person said this oil can be found at the foot of White Hill and Trial Path. Can you call me and talk to me about that? Why anybody else can confirm this? White Hill, where's White Hill? Trial Path, where's that? Where is White Hill? Please pardon my ignorance. Which parish is that? St. Philip? Good night. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show.
Again, Trial Path on White Hill is the bottom of St. Andrew.
Okay,
yeah. The same thing I was telling you at the bottom of the same Sturges.
Okay, it's the same. Sturges, okay, so it's the same thing. Trial Path. Okay, and White Hill. And all of that, Sturges, that's all St. Andrew. So somebody else is saying then that they can all of that. Right, but whenever you call, you have to turn off whatever device you're listening to me on because there's a delay and it's difficult. I'm hearing myself. Ross, are you hearing me?
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just giving you the information.
Yes, okay. Thank you so much then.
Okay.
Yes, okay.
That's why I told you that they went to St. Philip and leave St. Andrew.
Yes. And that's the thing that we are, because I mean, I suspect they could, yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. White Hill is in St. Andrew, east of Mount Hillaby.
The bottom of Mount Hillaby, which is the two highest peaks in Barbados, Sturges and Mount Hillaby, the two highest peaks in Barbados.
Wow.
So the oil actually comes down to the bottom.
Oh, the bottom of those hills.
Yes.
Okay.
This is a part of Barbados that most people are not familiar with. They don't check St. Andrew. St. Andrew is like for Bajan Parish, but it's one of the greatest parishes in the country, the East Coast.
No, tell a bit.
I originated from down there.
You are right, so that's why you know it. You know it very well.
Yeah.
Well,
this is the part of the Barbados now that they are now deciding to give away. This is what Mr. The guy from St. Joseph.
Yes.
These are the places that he's speaking of. That is so beautiful and will so the former government or David Thompson government decide that these lands should not have been sold. At this point in time now, these are the same lands that are being sold. These are the gems of Barbados.
Yes, wow. So all of this, I mean, very interesting. Very interesting.
Yes. What actually happened to Barbados over the years is that St. Andrew, all the trees were cut down in St. Andrew in order to plant sugarcane, because this was one of the most productive parts of Barbados, sugarcane. So after the trees were cut down, the land slipped. So right now, St. Andrews is slipping parish.
Okay.
Most of the land is just whenever you get heavy rain, you get a lot of landslides. So this was the beginning of the era of what they call that area now. I don't remember what they call that area, but this is the reason why this land is so troubled, because they cut down all the trees. The forest in that area was like the breath of Barbados.
Oh,
they
really?
Just cut down the trees and all the land in the middle of that slip away, because the land is mostly clear.
Right. So that is
it was
what
like the
happened.
forest of Barbados.
Right.
So when down the trees, nearly all the land. What the white people did when they came here, they built the plantations on the rock, and the tree roots kept the land still. They cut down the trees to plant sugarcane, and when the rainfall, most of the land slided. Nobody ever checked for it afterwards. It went into like steep gullies and cliffs. So this is the problem that we get in now. St. Andrews always be the problem that people talk of.
Right. Okay. Very interesting.
They call it, I don't remember what it is they call it. They call it the
This is Scotland District?
Scotland District, that's the right name.
Yeah.
It's almost 2/3 of Barbados. I mean, 1/3 of Barbados, or even more. It goes in part of St. Peter, St. Andrew, St. Joseph, St. John. And the land had slipped to such a degree that you got some very, very deep crevices in the land, because of removing the old that kept the land firm.
But
so now they're going in, putting in what they call them baskets in order to run off the water.
Yes, the Gabions.
Gabions, right. It's such a strange land that it's clear and it's the normal land. So the water actually is cutting clear and the land above. So when you move the top, you find actually lakes of water underneath the normal land.
So you're telling me that
nobody talk about this.
Yeah, but so Russ, what you're saying is this is very interesting. I don't know what it means because I'm just hearing it, and I know some of you know this already. So pardon my ignorance, but you're saying that and others that this is one of the places where you saw the oil coming up out of the ground.
Exactly. And one of the richest parishes in the land.
Wow. And isn't this where the Chinese, where they're doing a lot of
exactly
work? This is
interesting. And we're doing a bridge and everything collapsed.
Isn't that interesting to you all that this is the same place?
Yeah, because what actually happening is that they're bringing people to Barbados to do things that they don't know the history of the actual country. So a lot of the things that these people are doing, they too are ignorant to a lot of what's going on. We are a people that do not believe in our people. Barbados used to talk about punching above the weight. That's when the average Bajan was doing the work. We actually build things, doors and chairs and furniture and send them to Trinidad. And enough of the workers never got the money back. Now they're saying that the Bajan workers are no good, and Trinidad is sending doors to Barbados that when the rainfall, the doors drop to pieces. We don't ever be grateful for what we have. That's one of the big problems in Barbados. We always on the red or on the grid our own, but then we take things from other people that is inferior and skin our face and smile and say it's great. That's the problem in Barbados. We got a problem with hatred among one another.
For ourselves. Well, the truth of the matter is, I mean, if this if this can benefit Barbados, I believe that we need to take it very seriously, and this is where, you know, having a
can I tell you something?
Yes.
I just want to tell you a small thing before you go. Ribisco is a Barbadian entity that was great to Barbados. Central Foundry was a Barbadian entity that was bought by Trinidad. The dry dock was one of the greatest entities in Barbados. Before anybody else in the Caribbean had a dry dock, Barbados had a dry dock.
Yes, that's true.
Trawler fishing in the Caribbean, we were the actual cornerstone of fishing in the Caribbean. When we had a good couple of trawlers, and we used to do all the fishing in the Caribbean. This was an initiative by Araba and George Ferguson. All of these things brought money to the country that we can't even say are the industries that we have now. Everything we went to St. Thomas and we developed a cave. Not even that we invest thousands of millions of dollars in is not an entity, a Barbadian entity at this point in time. So when you see Barbados scrambling for this and that, it isn't that we were not great craftsmen of our fate. We were. But our fate was sold to the highest bidder. So now we are just catching our royal ass in order to find things to do. Not that we weren't good.
Yes.
We were the best.
Yes.
That's why they can say that Barbados punch above his weight. Right now we are begging above our weight.
We're begging, yeah. Well, caller,
have a nice night.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate your contribution, and I will call you off air to see how I can get to this place. Thank you.
Thank you, and have a nice night.
Yes, sir. A pleasure. Thank you. Wow, I'm telling you, I am like a sponge, you all. I am so all in. I'm reading my WhatsApp. I'm reading my WhatsApp, and I'm seeing some calls. I'm going to call back. I see that Dr. Hines called. Dr. Hines, I am bringing you back. Your phone should be ringing now, Dr. Hines, if you're watching.
Hello.
Good night, Dr. Hines. Can you turn off your device, please?
Okay.
So we can have our conversation live.
Yes, ma'am. It is off.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's oh my goodness, we are learning so much tonight. Well, I for sure. I'm telling you, this is an educational session for me. Now, sir, thank you for sending Mr.
Maurice Gaskin.
Maurice Gaskin to us. I was going to be cheeky. I was going to call him Mr. Rodent Man. But he was so very good. He was so good. Thank you so much. But I suspect you want to make a contribution concerning this. We're doing the history of oil in Barbados. You have anything you want to contribute to that?
Yes. First, I want to congratulate that call you had before. He taught me a new phrase. He said we are begging above our weight. You know, I found that so funny because we are, and when the term "we punching above our weight," I first heard that was voiced by Kofi Annan. I think it was. Kofi Annan, he was Secretary General of the UN.
Yes. And
he said that on the, I think, who was Prime Minister then? Erskine Sandford. But he was talking about where the country was going and the things we are doing, and that was on the Erskine Sanford, you know. And people thought we punched above our weight. We're not punching above our weight now. That is nothing that we can attribute to this current government. So we can attribute what the guy said. We are begging above our weight. But anyway, let's get to the oil issue. This oil issue is rather confusing to me because we been for the last couple of years been punching clean energy.
Yes.
And we have at the center of our economic earnings tourism.
Yeah.
And everywhere they have drilled oil all over the world, it's a very dirty job. And the place becomes very dirty. You get oil spills, all types of dirty work. You don't have beautiful beaches and drilling oil. The two don't go together. So you don't understand why we are pushing drilling oil offshore, and we are also want to push tourism. The two don't add up. You can have a tourist destination and oil drilling. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand. I'm listening to you.
Right. So the whole thing have been confused.
Especially because we're drilling offshore.
Yeah. And the people who have gone before recognize that to drill the oil in Trinidad is much easier than drilling it here. Oh, you remember it runs parallel, you know. Oil go down to a level. And they have found that the oil that you find here runs right back to Trinidad. So the people before left and went to Trinidad.
Yes.
So they don't know what these people expect to find, you know. They can find beer empty.
So you're thinking that the wells are empty. But before we move on, we go there about whether you believe anything is in the wells. You can have tourism with oil drilling. It's just that it might be a different type of tourism. You know, right now we boast in Barbados about the beaches, which they're just so beautiful, right? So, you know, could it be that we might have to sell a different tourism product? You understand what I'm saying?
With black beaches, they're not going to be pretty and golden anymore. Not after oil spill. Because we building a lot of hotels on the beach. There got to be a reason we do it. We're doing that.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to find a place, because Trinidad has, you know, they do tourism as well, not the same kind of brand as Barbados, right? Guyana does as well, nowhere like Barbados, and that's a reason. There's a reason for it. In fact, when you go to Guyana, I mean, the beaches, they're beautiful, but the sand is brown, and the water look brown. In fact, they call it Coca-Cola water. They call it Coca-Cola, you know. So I think that we will have to find out what the risks are, you know, and if we, you know, what can be put in place. Because there are people, you know, Dr. Hines, who believe that it might help Barbados to clear its debts if we can commercially find if we can drill if we can find enough barrels, sir, to make sense commercially, it might help our economy.
Well, help our economy, my foot. Listen, our dollar is stronger than the Trinidadian dollar, and they had more oil than John Rebo. They had it for years. You probably born and find oil in Trinidad, so you don't see how we can solve the problems with oil all of a sudden. Trinidad haven't solved it. Our dollar is it's 1 to 6 US, whereas ours is 1 to 2. Okay, so they talking about finding oil. Going to solve our economic problems. It might worsen our position because we might have some planes coming and landing here and seizing the oil fields. Because Venezuela didn't have the problems they have now before Trump decided that he wanted the oil. He said he wanted the oil, no Venezuela bear problems. Right. And Guyana, Forrest Burner had to tell them, see that oil and leave it alone here. But they're going after it, and now they're in problems with Venezuela.
Yeah.
Trump want to move to Guyana, want send some planes down in Guyana and control there.
But let's get back to what you were saying now about, you think, because I kind of stop you in your thoughts, that you think that the wells here are that they're empty. Why do you say that?
Because before, when they were exploring, probably before I was born, it was said that they had decided it was more profitable to drill the same oil from in Trinidad. But they found that they had run right back across the right back the south. If you're going south, it ran right down to Trinidad. You understand? And the same guys, the same engineers, the chemical engineers and stuff, moved to Trinidad. We have a lot of Barbadian family that have moved to Trinidad for that very reason.
Wow. Do you have this where can I put my hand on that information?
That was said to me orally.
Okay.
But I don't have. I didn't go in the archives and read it. But it was, and if you speak to a lot of Barbadians, they will tell you that that they were exploring oil in Barbados, in Turner's Hall and those areas. And they found that when you drill, and what you call them, the geologists will tell you that it was the same oil ran straight back to Trinidad. And it's profitable to drill it in Trinidad, where they had established oil fields. It's simply the same problem that Iraq had with Kuwait. Kuwait was drilling oil and selling to Americans, but they found that it came from beneath Iraq. So Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait because, as far as he's concerned, it was their oil. You understand? So Trinidad drilling oil that runs, well, I can't say Barbados. It's so have to dig a well, it doesn't matter where it come from. You dig a well, you go down, you suck it. Understand? But in the past they found that. I think that by now, if the last guy said that Trinidad find it very difficult to drill oil, the wells are drying up. Well, if they run from Barbados down to Trinidad, well, they're going to be drying up here in Barbados as well. So
interesting.
Don't know.
It's interesting. I mean, I don't know. We're discussing here without any, as you said, that was an oral story that was told to you orally. I would love to be able to substantiate that, where what you're saying, that the oil was going into Trinidad. I think that the caller Ross before kind of alluded to something like that, which is why there's always been a challenge issue between Trinidad, he's saying, and Barbados. I wrote that down, Doc, and I'm going to see if we can find some documentation on that. I have a couple of people I have to interview, and so I'm going to see where we can go with that. It'd be interesting to find that out. Anything else you wanted to say on the topic?
No, that's just it. Just everyone made the point that building hotels on the beach and drilling offshore, it doesn't add up to me.
It doesn't add up to you. It'd be interesting to see if we could find a place. Is there a country that does that and still have beautiful beaches? I would love to know. Does anybody know? Because it would be interesting to see if we can do it, do it all together. Our fishing industry, stays vibrant. Tourism, great. Oil, can they coexist? That's the question. And is there a place where they're coexisting that we can use as an example?
Well, I don't, even the Great America, I don't think that they have any oil wells in Miami. The beaches, their beautiful beaches are in Miami. I don't think they explore any oil wells down in Miami.
Yes. Okay.
But it's just very interesting. I wonder if you ever thought about it.
Yes.
Are we promoting tourism industry and beautiful beaches? Because that's about 50% of the reason people come here. They love the idea of going to the beaches in Barbados. Almost every ad you see advertising Barbados, people allude to the beautiful beaches. But you can't have that mixed with.
You don't think so? It'd be interesting, Doc, if we find a country that is able to do it. I'm open to trying to find, at least see if that country exists, where they could coexist, tourism, oil, fishing industry, all coexist. If anybody knows any country out there, and when we say tourism, we're talking about the way of Barbados' brand of tourism, okay? Because Trinidad has tourism, but it's not the same brand as Barbados. Would you agree, Doc?
Well, yeah. Both, as you said, both Trinidad and Guyana, they got tourism, And you go over to Trinidad, the Hilton is not on the beach. It is here. The Hilton is in town. And it's a beautiful building. And I would recommend anyone going to Trinidad to stay at the Hilton, But that's not their brand. Their brand is more conference tourism and that sort of stuff,
Yeah.
Whereas people come here so that they can take off their shoes and take a walk on the beach, that sort of stuff. But we have a brand that the beaches are mixing before our product.
Yes, it'll be interesting to know. Thank you, Doc. Appreciate your call.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Very interesting callers tonight, guys. Very interesting. I see here there was a caller, and I'm gonna call because we only have the one line. So, Miss Kathy, listen out. I'm calling you now. If you're watching, your phone is ringing, and it is the Marcia Week show that is calling you. I know you wanted to make a contribution, so I'm calling you back. Are you hearing? Are you watching the show? Kathy, my namesake? No? She's probably watching the show and not hearing her phone ring. Oh, okay, got you. Good night. I realized you were calling.
Yes.
Welcome to the Marcia Week show.
Thank you. Good night.
Yes.
About the oil tour, whatever it is that we have here, there seem to be many I don't want the names they're called by because I remember somebody's talking about it from in the area of St. John. And it has the color of the earth dark. But they were calling it something else. But I remember coming along and hearing my parents talking about the green tar and how they treat different ailments and stuff. And I think I've heard persons actually taking it. But
when you say taking, you mean orally?
Yes. But it's in a large quantity. It is a small amount. So they had however they did their research, that is what I heard.
Yes, but somebody, I think Dave says he used to get green tar and another thing, tartar.
Charcoal or casserole.
Right, for worms that they used to give it to the children.
Correct. So we will need to have some manner of research on the different substances to see exactly what it is. But I have a question. I think it was last night that you did a culmination of the different amounts of monies that were borrowed under the climate change banner. Now that we are contemplating drilling oil, on the start of that drilling or after we started drilling, do we have to pay back all the money that we borrow under climate change?
I'm sure we would have to, but that agreement, you made an agreement, right? There's an agreement.
Exactly, because I can't see how the two can go together, that you got all this money and still even reaching out for more today under climate change, but yet you're drilling for oil. So nobody's wanting.
Well, somebody might say that they're probably hoping to drill, find enough oil, so it's commercially viable, that they could pay back all the loans. You see, that is what some people think.
That's like trusting as we say, but we're trusting and don't pay. There's no guarantee. You don't know. And if on the start of the drilling, it cuts the deals with the climate change agreement, then we are in that scuts.
Well, I mean, the reality is this, if it is commercially viable for Barbados, it's a win. It's a wonderful thing. If the tourism brand and the fishing industry and all that we have now can coexist with this drilling that they want to get started in September and all, then it's wonderful. It is wonderful for the country.
A lot of money would have to go into that to safeguard the fishing industry and the tourism industry. A lot of money.
Why are you saying that? Why are you saying that?
Because you have to, just in case there's an oil spill, just in case anything miscellaneous. And this is a high cost miscellaneous that we're talking about. So you have to have the type of technology and equipment that is top of the ladder kind of thing, because you can't play with just any oil rig. You gotta have something that will not cause the oil to spill. And if it spills, we got problems. So that's why I said it's going to be very expensive to actually go into that, because you have to put safeguards in place. And with this administration, I have no confidence, none whatsoever, in they're putting that type of safeguard.
You don't believe that they would be able to get it done?
They can get it done in terms of drilling, but the type of safeguard that I believe that they need to employ, I am not 100% sure that they will go that length. They may talk about it, but I don't think they will go to the length. And then we will be in trouble, greater trouble, deeper trouble.
Yes. Actually,
so I would like to know the agreement. I would like to know what the agreement is if you break the agreement with the climate change.
Yeah, what happens? Well, I mean, just on my just knowledge of accounting and contracts and so on, you're gonna have to pay. I see. Now I understand what you're saying. If will you have to basically give back the money? I don't think so, unless they're
you got it under a banner of climate change, clean energy.
That's what you were told, and because some grants might have stipulation. Now I understand the question. there's some grants that in order for you to be able to access the funds, it has to be used in a particular way for a particular thing. But how do we know that the government is not going to still try to push this climate change and narrative at the same time? How do we know that they're not going to try to do it together?
This will be climate change or drilling.
Yeah. I mean, but in some instances, people are saying it can be done safely, Kathy. They might be able to do it safely and still protect the environment.
That is why I said it's going to take a lot of money for that to be done.
For that, okay, okay, got your point. Point taken.
Which means that we might have to borrow more money, or we got a lot stored away that we know about that we can invest.
Yeah.
I just see it as another hope, another day, and all the wastage. That is their modus operandi.
Yes. So you
and I'm afraid of what they're going to do.
So for you, it seemed like a pie in the sky thing.
For them, for this administration, it is worse than a pie in the sky. Not that it cannot be done and it should not be done, but with them doing it.
Yeah, you don't think.
Hold my breath. No.
Well,
I can't say hold my breath.
We will have to wait and see. Thank you so much, caller. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Very interesting comments there tonight. Very interesting comment. Oh, Commissioner called. So Commissioner called 3 times. Okay, Nigel Newton is calling. I have called back Commissioner. Commissioner, if you're listening, I'm going to call you after Mr. Newton. Go ahead, Mr. Newton. Great to hear you.
Good night, Marcia.
Good night.
And members of the loyal opposition.
Yes.
I am really very confused. I am shocked and dismayed at the announcement about oil drilling offshore. And the whole government is confused and in it, right? But what about the oil drilling would be done in the hurricane zone? I mean, hurricanes are going to be coming from the east and southeast of Barbados. How are they going to negotiate drilling oil on the east and southeastern coast of Barbados and the coming of hurricanes, and the hurricanes are becoming more and more dangerous? So how are they going to negotiate the conflict or the struggle between the hurricanes, oil drilling, rough seas, and so on and so forth? I would like them to explain that to me. And yeah, that's one. And two, I remember as a boy growing up hearing about green tar, but I wonder how many Barbadians are aware of, you see down Concept Bay, and when you're walking from Concept Bay and going down back, that hill up there, when I was a boy, I heard about Manjack. It was this black thing oozing out of the earth. You could walk on the sea coast and you could literally take it out.
Yes.
And I think my parents, they were talking also about my father, because he's from up there. I think that same hill, there was some dispute, and I heard that a shell, and that hill was, a shell was fired into it, and that hill was burning for about 7 years.
What?
I don't remember the final details.
Your parents told you that?
My father, because he's from College, Savannah, and St. John. I was.
So what's the actual name of the hill? Do you remember?
They used to call it Burn Hill.
Burn Hill. Oh, because there was an actual fire there.
Yes, I think it got shelled. There was some dispute. I think I heard the Canadians fired a shell in that area, and the hill was burning for around 7 years. And then this manjack that they took out, that used to be shipped, I understand, overseas to make vinyl records. You know, the old records that you would play your music on.
Okay, that's so that your parents told you that.
No, I came along hearing about that.
Oh, you came along so orally, but so we need to be able to verify that the manjack was shipped to create vinyl records from Barbados.
Yeah, I remember hearing that it used to be made used for making vinyl records. I cannot tell you. These are things that I heard, right?
Yeah, I'm writing them down, and I will try my best to find out about it. That would be interesting to find out.
Manjack. They used to call it manjack.
Right. It's the same green tar.
Yeah, the same green thing. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And then with the Scotland district, how many Barbadians know or are aware that there is a network of caves from Bath down to Cattle Wash? Caves all the way underneath the sea, right away down to Cattle Wash and even further out into maybe even as far as the Animal Flow Cave in St. Lucie, right? And finally, I also heard that Barbados is just about a third of its size because to the east of St. Lucie, about 2/3 of Barbados went down under the sea many years ago because there is a sleeping or dead volcano in that area.
Really? Wow. Yeah. Anybody else heard? It's so interesting to hear these. I hate to say what you're saying is a story, but it sounds that way to me. Because it's somebody saying yes. That's very interesting. I never heard of it before. Anybody else? Anybody can verify these oral tales?
I had a friend who was born in St. Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
He was also in the army. He is who informed me about all of that because he explored those caves. He knew a lot about that area because he was in the army.
Yes. Wow, very interesting. But let me go back because I was reading about those caves that you're talking from Bath. I'm sorry, I'm tired of calling Bath to Cattle Wash. They're in St. John and into St. Joseph. All along there, they're saying that there is you're right. That's what I found today, that they're caves. I mean, they're the known caves that we know, the Coast Caves and the Harrison Cave and Animal Fur Cave. But what I found out is that there are other caves that are not, they're not known caves. But just to agree with you that there is that network of caves. But let me ask you something. You said something about the hurricane, that they're going to be drilling in a hurricane zone. Do you think it matters the fact that Barbados is kind of outside the main Atlantic hurricane belt? Which means that, as we know, we don't get hit as frequently or as severely as the other islands. You think that might help with the drilling? The fact that we're outside the hurricane belt.
I don't think that we are really outside the hurricane belt, because whenever the hurricanes form and they're coming down, we always get a lot of rough seas and so on and so forth, and high winds and so on. So how are they going to negotiate the oil drilling and the rigs and so on and so forth with the impact of major hurricanes that might be passing to the north of Barbados and so on? And wouldn't that bring all of the oil spill into Barbados? And again, when you look at what is happening with the sargassum seaweed, which is coming from the eastern section of Barbados. What about if an oil spill occurs out there?
With a hurricane, coming as well, if they or a category, a high category storm.
Yes.
Yeah. So will the oil, you're saying the facilities, will they be designed to withstand it?
Can anyone design anything to withstand Mother Nature when she's furious?
Yeah, but I'm curious to know, though. I mean, we're just chatting here whether other countries, you know, what do they do? You know, you know, in terms of hurricanes and storms, because I'm sure that drilling must be occurring in places that you know, experience hurricanes and storms. Could a major storm, and what do they do when there's a major storm threatening the you know, the drilling operations offshore? What happens?
Well, we don't know, but Barbados is such a beautiful island, dependent on tourism. You know, maybe already doing major damage to the sea coast with all these high-rise hotels and so on and so forth. Now you're going to be adding oil, drilling for oil, and the possibility of oil spill. What is going to happen to our tourism industry?
Yeah.
What is going to happen to us?
It's an interesting topic to look into about these hurricanes. I'm seeing here actually that Hurricane Camille destroyed multiple offshore oil platforms in the Gulf of Mexico. That's you're raising a very valid point. However, there are some other places though that they're saying that they've developed modern rigs that are able to withstand extreme weather. You know, so it's a bit interesting to look at that and to see what Barbados is planning to do, because if it's done in other places where the modern rigs are designed with extreme weather in mind, then it's probably possible that they might be able to design a rig out there that withstand the hurricanes and or the you know, the category 5 storm or whatever comes, you know.
Well, I'm not hopeful because I'm not hopeful. I don't trust this government with anything.
You don't trust them. Okay. Wow, interesting.
Right.
Interesting. Thank you for raising that. And let me go to my final caller. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good
Yes,
evening.
Adrian is asking. Yes, they said that the oil was found on White Hill. I have that in my notes. Yeah, I'm learning as everybody else is too. Yeah. Interesting. Let me get my final caller here. I don't know if I should call the commissioner be the final caller, you know, because commissioner going to keep me here too long. Commissioner, I'm going to call you, but I don't keep me too long. Okay, Commissioner, your phone is ringing. Commissioner, you're still there? Are you going to sleep? Okay, Commissioner, not hearing him. Oh boy, I have to make sure that. Oh, he's here. Commissioner, sorry.
Please, I got to charge something here. Don't do that yet.
All right, Commissioner.
I got to charge something here.
All right, switch it off, Commissioner. Switch it off.
Take a got it now?
Yes, go right ahead.
Oh, I still hear somebody.
You still hearing me?
Yeah, I hear the gentleman.
Well, I can hear you clean and clear, and we only have what? I'm going to give you 3 minutes, and we will have to pick up because it's 10:04.
Oh.
Yeah, you're still listening. You have to turn it off.
What I had called you for. You know we had a refinery in Bear Street?
Yes, we talked about it on the show. Yes.
Well, I didn't hear that part.
Not tonight. Not tonight. We talked about it. I think we had a time with Miss McLean. Go ahead.
Just in the era of Hilton.
Yes.
Yeah. It was in the era of the Hilton.
Yes, Commissioner, you're listening to your device, so then that's why.
Yeah, I found something here. I try to get it started.
All right, no problem. Go ahead. Just take another 2 minutes and finish up the next show. Go ahead.
It gone now?
I think so. Yes, it's gone.
You can hear me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear. Go right ahead.
Good. Now, I was trying to tell you, but I got somebody who raised it.
Mm-hmm.
It was somewhere there between, we call it the Pebbles Beach, going, I think on the left-hand side, going to Hilton.
Mm-hmm.
In between there, the Lighting Power was in between there too. And they had two pipelines going into the sea. I was told that one of those, I remember, one of those pipelines is to bring in water from the sea to cool the engines and that Lighting Power. And when the water come back out, it's hot.
Right, the hot pot.
The hot pot. Just there when you say that we should call it Grand Barbados, I work there too. And they're Radisson. Right. It was in that area between, right there, like that. I tell you, some horses' bed boat there. The hot pot. And boy, people from all walks of life used to come there, locals and visitors. But I hear it was said that when people come there with chairs and crutch and clutch and all kind of devices, walking with, they said that when they go back home, they had to use them. I know, but it's true.
Very interesting. It's a lot of stories. Oh boy. This is okay, Commissioner.
But you know that same thing that they call green tar, the same oil. I take people to drink it too, you know. I hear in those days that when women born babies, and it says something is called a landing coal. The women used to drink it. Some affectionate to get after the born the babies. This is called the catch a landing coal.
Landing coal, yes.
Yeah, this I want now. They say they used to drink it. Probably, I don't know, but probably the gentleman there, I think that there with you now.
Yes.
He would never tell you about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He would tell you about it. A few more people, probably my age or over, will tell you about it.
Yes.
That's my little voice at work.
No, but it's interesting. All of these stories, they all add up. Thank you so much for calling.
Yes.
Okay. God bless.
I think in that same area.
Yes.
They had come from the same St. Andrew. You know, like and those when we had the bus, used to got the bus excursions. Good. When they had no highway byways down in Norway, it's one little crampy road.
Yes.
And when you come across, like you pass and Thomas Park up in the hills, I going to River Bay. So I my bus, I going north. So when I look to the west, no, when I look to the west, east, no, the east, the right hand side of the road. Up in them hills, you know, to set a pipeline. It was coming from that same St. Andrew.
Okay.
A silver pipeline. I think it started from there, eh? But anyhow, the time that they find natural gas in that same St. Andrew, that same area.
St. Andrew,
Yeah, and that gas follow, come right up. But now, you know, they're no more the old time road. Then they got houses up in there. You know, then you got trees. You don't see nothing now. But them fellas will tell about that natural gas that used to come from down that same area. That it make it way till they take it make it way back to Warren's further out.
Well, these are things that we will have to look into and to see how much of the of these oral tales are real, you know, they're historic facts, or they're just things, you know, tales passed down from one generation to the next. But thank you so much for calling. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Commissioner.
Yeah, okay, enjoy then.
Yes, God bless you. Bye-bye. Yes. Oh boy, what a wealth of information. I love just my goodness. This, what I would love is that if we could just all be in one room, you know, we're all talking, you know, I would just love that. Because it's when the meeting of the minds, all of us come together. I think that we can, you know, find answers like that, and the knowledge. We need the elderly people there. They've got the history, you know, that's not written down. They've got that that which was passed on to them, and with that we can use whatever information we get from them, you know, but whatever we acquire from them, we can use that to find out, you know, even more things, you know, go dig a little deeper and to investigate a little bit more. I think that this was great, as far as I'm concerned, because I'm learning. And I hope you were learning as well. Thank you so much to Maurice. And I have to look for his name. Again, I am forgetting his last name. But Maurice Gaskin, Mr. Maurice Gaskin, who did such an amazing job talking to us about how to keep our homes rodent-free. And we want to thank Attorney Corey Beckles for that, another informative session tonight. Thank you all so much, and everybody who called in, because you make it all happen. It's us all together. It's like, you know, a big pot, and we all ate from it. Thank you so much. Thank you to Dave for the support and putting up, you know, what needs to go up, and my tea, my ginger tea. Thank you. All right. God bless you all. God bless you all. And I see you on Wednesday. Dr. Alleyne, wherever you are, enjoy. Bye-bye.
I want you to know right from the start, I'm a proud Bajan from the bottom of my heart. This is where I was born and bred. You could bet your life, this is where I got dead. Many others pack and leave when things get hard. Man, them things that make me grieve, they just make me feel real bad. But my navel string, very right here. So for better or worse, I ain't leaving out here. I ain't leaving. I ain't leaving. I ain't leaving. My sweet Barbados, I ain't leaving. I ain't leaving. I ain't leaving. My sweet Barbados. Even if they try to kill me with tax, I ain't leaving. Even if from war through St. Lucie tax. Even if we still got potholes galore, I ain't leaving. Even if the government took it out the eyes of the poor, I ain't leaving. I ain't leaving. I ain't leaving. I ain't leaving. Okay. No way. I say I ain't leaving. Okay. Whoa. Give it. Through all these years, our beacon shone bright. In the Caribbean, Barbados is the light. One thing nobody can debate, that's be fighting strong and punching above the weight. The whole Caribbean came looking to get ahead, but when we was feeling pain, them run and left we for dead. But blue, yellow, and black running through me veins. So for better or worse, I will always remain. I ain't leaving. I ain't leaving. I ain't leaving. My sweet Barbados, I ain't leaving. I ain't leaving. I ain't leaving. My sweet Barbados, even if the crime went out of hand, I ain't leaving. Even if the young men playing cowboy and Indian, look, even if I can't buy a piece of this rock, I ain't leaving. Even if the Trinis and the Chinese will never respond, I ain't leaving. I ain't leaving. I ain't leaving. I ain't leaving. Okay. No way. I say I ain't leaving. Okay. Whoa. Ah. No way. Come on now. As we look back in our history, we must thank Jehovah for always guiding we. Some countries have enough poverty, but my Barbados is blessed with plenty. I don't plan to beg for you to stay with me, but we all must have some pride in our beautiful country. In the Middle East, them fighting for them lives. So why the hell should I leave my piece of paradise? I ain't leaving. I ain't leaving. I ain't leaving. My sweet Barbados, I ain't leaving. I ain't leaving. I ain't leaving. My sweet Barbados, even if we lack transparency, I ain't leaving. Even if there's no hope of finding missing money, even if we have no opposition, I ain't leaving. Cause we have the best Prime Minister in the region. I ain't leaving. I ain't leaving. I ain't leaving. I ain't leaving, okay.